are Squawking Dead. And how are you guys doing tonight? I know this episode is full of action, adventure, letdowns, but we're here for you. We're taking over for Talking Dead for the last time in what appears to be a long time. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by Cosmo Mom 09, Rachael Birch.
Hello.
Did you like that one?
That was good. Yeah.
All right, I'm nailing it.
I felt the excitement.
Yes, and we're ready to rock. I just want to say hi. First of all, I know there's a lot of you listening right now. It looks like a lot of our favorites like Blazy, Celtic TSO, Thomas O'Mara. We got ATXOG in the house.
Nice.
Oh, Thomas is on both.
Nice, yes. Double support.
Double support, yeah. Double-barreled support. Just like Tom. Tom is definitely double-barreled. So, like, the first barrel is for humor. The second barrel is for concern.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have a lot of house cleaning to do before we get into the episode. Number one, I mean, we're going to have to do this until this happens. New York Comic Con, we have a panel Thursday night, 6:30, room 1A24. It's a TWD panel with special guests Jeremy Palco, James Chen, Elise Dufour, and last but definitely not least, Oscar Rodriguez, a.k.a. Oscar's Red Hat. You're gonna be joined by me, Meg the Geek, and BMMY Chris. So why don't you join us? Second thing is we have a table at Walker Stalker Atlanta. Can't be better than that. And we have press passes. So we'll be interviewing people throughout Walker Stalker. We're working on finalizing and getting all those people in order and figuring out who we have the rights to actually question, to interrogate for like 10 minutes. So we got to make it count. We got to get in their face. So let me see here. Okay, good. Comments are there. Okay, good, great, awesome. So yeah, and so I hope to see most if not all of you there. I'll be manning the table for as long as humanly possible. No bathroom breaks, no holds barred. Basically, I am chaining myself to the table so I can meet every single one of you if possible. Our table will be like a safe harbor from the rigors of Walker Stalker Atlanta, and hope to see you there. No audio on Instagram. Oh, I see.
Uh-oh.
I see. Let me figure that out. You're right. When you write, you write. Hold on a second. There we go. There's the microphone, and there's the. This happens every now and again, by the way. Is that right?
You are just persistent tonight.
You're
never this
something
bad.
else. Okay.
She usually stays down by my feet. Tonight she's got to be right in my face.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. My microphone is on now, but now. Okay. So. I've got to do this thing. Just give me 1 second. I got to get rid of this one thing.
Stop
it, you
You're
silly
being
cat.
so bad. You're being so bad.
I love the magic of editing, by the way. Like, this is all going to disappear
Like
on the
it
cutting
never
room
happened.
floor. Yeah, thank you, Blazy, by the way. She's the one who pointed it out. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. When you update the app, sometimes it'll revert back. And I'm none the wiser because let's say the intro music doesn't come through my speakers. It just goes straight into the stream. So thank you very much for telling me. Okay, so that's going to get all edited out and moving along. So after Walker Stalker Atlanta, there's been like a change in development to the Haunt for Dead October. That's in Nitro, West Virginia. And I think they may have to change locations because of some budget cutbacks or something like that. So if I have anything new for you guys, I'll keep you updated. So that's actually taking place, or supposed to be taking place, the weekend after Walker Stalker Atlanta. Again, Nitro, West Virginia. I don't know what we're going to be doing there, if at all. But we'll figure it out and we'll get back to you. Do we have anything else? I don't think so, right?
Not from me.
Okay. If I think of something, oh well, you know what it is, and I keep forgetting it for some reason. You know what it is.
The merch store?
The merch store. Although, I'm, as Rachael has seen, I'm some of my mistakes. We're working on a t-shirt for Walker Stalker Atlanta. Now, this is to be worn hopefully, maybe then, maybe beforehand, maybe afterwards, maybe in life. It's supposed to be worn during the Scream after party hosted by DJ Matthew Lillard. I can't say that last name correctly. It's basically it's based on the theme of Scream, and
That's awesome.
we will definitely be unveiling it this week so that you can order it in time for Walker Stalker Atlanta. So I will keep you posted on that. I will be posting the image of it once it's ready. It's really close. So if you want to head to the merch store now, we have all our season-based designs there now. Head to squawkingdead.com. Click the main menu and just click merch. You're there. It's the easiest way I can tell you to do it. And we are getting the banners ready for season 10. We're getting the episode graphics ready for season 10. Thank you, Freakish Order, for the banner, and actually with a little bit of the assist with the episode graphics. In spite of myself, she's just she's too much, and I confided in her that I'm feeling very stressed out and overwhelmed, and she's just very giving. And there's this part of me, there's this one part of me that's like, I could do it myself, and then there's another part of it is like, but do you have to? You have such good people around you. So that's really cool.
I always feel like I have to do everything myself.
Oh yeah, so let me just...
I always take it on.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, and it's not like I have a control thing. It's just that I know that when it comes to anything personal in my life, it's always been a battle of, the stakes are always a little higher. When it's a work thing, it's like, okay, if somebody lets me down, it's fine. It's just what you have to do. Mm-hmm. But when it's like a personal thing, it's like I've been in many bands where, it just people. It's like getting people for practices and just making sure we're ready for the gig and writing new songs. Writing new songs has always been a pain in the ass on my end. But when you're the singer, it's just doubly hard. You're thinking of melodies, you're thinking of lyrics to write, and the rest of the band doesn't really care what the lyrics are.
No.
They just care that it kind of goes with the theme of the song. No, they don't think they even care about that. But it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. It's like the quintessential hardest thing to do in a group is working in a band, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people would probably agree with that, especially as you get older.
I've seen that. Yeah. My dad was in bands all growing up. My high school boyfriend was in a band. I've definitely been around bands pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Okay, cool. All right, so I have to turn it over to you. Your impressions of this episode, Rachael Burt.
Impressions. I don't know. I don't really know what I didn't really have I don't know. As always, I have a lot of feelings depending on where we're at in the episode. But overall feeling, I don't know. At the end, I didn't really feel like this was a second to last episode. I mean, it just was kind of like, whoa, big shocker.
Yeah,
but
not exactly a Pike scene.
No.
Which is also a penultimate episode, yeah.
True. Yeah, I guess if we're comparing it to that, yeah. I mean, not quite as like shock factor, but
right.
But yeah, it's got that kind of that same feeling like, holy crap, how are we going to wrap this up in one episode? But
yeah, and that's I think that's the impression that most people have. See, here's the thing, and I kind of brought this up before, just before we went on the episode, is like the biggest complaint that everybody's had about this season is that everything seems to always work out, and this group is untouchable, which is really cool because it looks like they're trying to shake us out of that right now.
Mm-hmm. In a big way.
Yeah, and it's not like they knew that people would have this reaction, but I think this is all intentional. This is all this buildup is to get us to this moment, and it really the stakes are really really high on how they execute this season finale because based on audience feedback, the only way and maybe this is my limited scope because they know what's going to happen next, but we don't. But, I mean, the only way I can see this kind of shaken out is, we're going to lose some people. And as even Blasey says, like, even as much as she likes John and June, she feels like John is going to die.
Oh, Blasey, I was thinking the same thing this episode. I really was. And it came down to, like, I feel like we're going to lose one of them just because that's what they do to us, right? There's people in love. They're giving us hope. So we need to squash that somehow. And so I started thinking, who is it going to be? Is it going to be June? Is it going to be John? And I think for the viewers and for the group, John's death would have the biggest impact. I mean, he was just such this hopeful person and this, ray of light that everybody kind of looked to, and he had such a positive attitude about everything, that it would be devastating to lose that.
Yeah.
And so they would do that to us.
Well, yeah, and Tom is actually saying Grace is going to die,
Grace. Oh, I think that I feel like that's almost too obvious. Like,
right.
At this point, if she does go, it's like, okay, yeah, we saw that. It's sad, but we saw it coming. I still think there's going to be a shock factor of death, maybe even a few.
Oh my God! And now I'm thinking like I'm thinking like Alicia. I think
I hope
fans
not.
would be very, very upset with that. And, like, no matter who you are on that spectrum, too. By the way, like,
yeah.
The bring back the real fear people, but then also like I think every one of us would kind of be like, I don't know if I can handle this.
Oh, I'd be devastated if it were Alicia. I really would. I feel like she's for me the lone survivor.
Yes.
I mean, besides like Morgan, I feel like he just gets a pass. Like no matter what is said about everybody else, Morgan just survives always.
Yeah, in spite of himself. It's kind of like there are a few constants in this universe. One, Morgan doesn't die.
Yeah.
Daniel doesn't die.
No.
No, wait. These things are like rock solid true.
Yeah.
But then wait, there's another one, and I totally farted out on it. It was oh man, I hate when my memory does this. But there was another
Dwight?
constant. Yeah, there was another constant too, and I was just thinking.
Not Dwight?
No, not Dwight. Not a person. Like it was an idea.
Oh.
We're not gonna find it. It's just it's gone.
It'll come back around.
It left, and it's never gonna come back again. But. Stop trying. Yeah. Like I'm seriously trying. Anyways. So.
I really enjoyed Ginny's PSA video.
Did you see that?
It was oh my gosh, it was so ridiculous. Like, I'm going to save everybody. Like she made that video all about herself. And,
oh yeah. And like just painting herself in such a light too.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. This is how I'll save everybody. No, you won't. You'll kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like that's the really interesting thing. Like, this episode really does amount to what I put in the description. It's kind of like a Sophie's choice. You know what I mean? Like, you either tough it out and then have massive losses, or you don't tough it out and you have to deal with the Negan-esque consequences of joining this thing just to survive. All right?
Yeah. So that tanker they lost was full of gas, right? Was it just gas, or were there supplies in there too?
Oh, in the tanker?
Yeah, it was just the gas that they lost that fell.
Oh, that was just the gas tanker. Yeah,
just the gas. Okay.
But there were other things too. The only things that got across were the MRAP and another vehicle of some kind.
Just one. It looked like
maybe it was a semi. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was it. Everything else is on the other side. So, yeah.
So now they got to call Maggie up and be like, Maggie, send some people to build us a bridge.
So we need to talk about that, because a lot of people were talking about the possibility of Maggie crossing over and helping these people, or like somehow crossing over right now. And yeah, right?
I don't think timeline-wise it would be possible now.
It doesn't work at all, because
no.
Because Maggie leaves during the time jump, which we haven't even gotten close to yet. Or maybe we're pretty close now.
We're still years away from that.
Oh.
I think at least a few years away from that, don't you think?
Wait, say that again? Just because you cut out a little bit.
Oh, uh-oh. I said I think we're still a few years away from the time jump.
I don't think we're it could be a few years, but it could be any time after Rick disappears. So which is only maybe a couple months from now.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Now I'm going to be thinking too hard. Me and timelines, man. I stress about that stuff all day.
Yeah. There's some things. Yeah. It's almost not even worth like investigating, by the way. Like the time, all the timey-wimey stuff it's just, especially if you're trying to be technical, it just doesn't make sense to do. You know what I mean?
I think they do as good of a job as they can, honestly. Like there's discrepancies here and there, but I think it's as accurate as they could possibly make it for a TV show. So
yeah,
they do what they can, and they do it well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not the whole. We mentioned this before. It's like it's not the point to be accurate. The point is to really just get it in the ballpark. You know what I mean?
Right. And I appreciate that they do.
Yeah, the story will do the rest. I mean, I think that's what they're kind of aiming for too. Like the whole reason why Gimple is part of like content management is to really align these things so that they run parallel at some point, maybe, or at least get the references to each other's shows in and around the same time. And which is why Maggie won't show up, like bringing it back to the original premise.
Right. So, not right now. Yeah.
And Robbie says, "Fear needs Maggie." I'm like, by the way,
good correction.
Hi Robbie. There. By the way, just saying hi, because I've been chatting with Robbie for the last couple weeks now. I think now, right? Yeah, and it's a good kid. Very, 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 very pro Carol. By the way, so you'll get along with him very well.
Yeah, all right. I like him already.
Like, he's definitely more pro Carol than you are.
What? I'm not sure that's possible.
Well, you're going to have to prove him wrong.
I don't know.
He sent me a very cool video. One of those the longer video edits that you'll get on YouTube, like with just these cool, like, Daryl and Carol moments. And,
sure, yeah.
And it's effing beautiful. Still not convinced.
I will have to check it out.
but it's not. Yeah, the point is not to laugh at it. The point is really just because it's just funny. Like I'll always be on the. That's the thing. I'm always on the fence about it. It's like there's absolutely just no real tangible evidence. There's like a little flirting here and then there with Carol, but that's Carol's personality too.
Yeah.
Like even in the preview, it's just funny as hell. And like Daryl's, because she knows Daryl doesn't like to get all mushy.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of like how I won't make fun of people who are Carol, or I won't do that. But I'll be nah.
You know my stance on it. I think they have an unshakable relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic or whatever they want to kind of label they want to throw on it. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't. Those two are. Yeah, connected and always will be
kindred spirits.
Yep,
like that,
absolutely.
Like that. And see, that's them hugging right there. Like,
it is
little head on the shoulder there, like right.
Yeah.
So speaking of records, Tom actually brought up something that I wasn't really actually prepared to talk about, but I think it's important because, and I was gonna look into it a little bit more before I even did. So do you remember the last episode with the vinyl records, right?
Yeah.
That Daniel wanted to bring over for Charlie. So. Picture's been making the rounds, and actually I'm not even sure if Robbie was the original person who cut it up and sent it, but then like comicbook.com picked it up and wrote something about it. One of the pictures was of a dude on the cover with kind of a similar facial hair pattern to Beta.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what people are postulating is that, like, okay, Beta, instead of being a basketball player, maybe he was a jazz musician or blues musician. Yeah. So
wouldn't that be hilarious?
Right. Can you imagine with like that raspy voice? I was a jazz singer.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No, that tracks.
Then again, Tom Waits. So, Tom Waits. I'm Tom Waits. I sing like this now because of all the cigarette smoking. So that's Beta right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not 100% convinced because it's hard. It's hard because, like, as much as you want to, I kind of wanted to see if I could find a comparable actual real album. But then,
that's
as
what
we all know,
ask.
even like Georgie's. So this was, I'm bringing up Georgie on purpose. Like when they were finding albums for Georgie, those albums, because we got a little sneak peek of what the album covers looked like. At the time, like TWD or TWD on AMC, like threw up the vinyl covers that they brought for Georgie, and they're all completely made up.
No, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, so there's a little like push and pull with whether or not this could be Beta, but I kind of wanted to see, because Daniel mentions real artists, real artists that exist in the world,
right? So.
It's just a free-for-all. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, it makes sense what everybody's saying, but on the other hand, there's that shadow of a doubt, it's not unheard of that there's an actual real musician that looks like that And it's not unheard of that they could make up a musician for an album cover that Daniel wants to bring over.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's like this part of me that thinks, oh, it's like like a nothing burger. I don't think it was meant to really be anything.
It could be a totally made up album cover, and they picked whoever to be on it, not even thinking of the similarities. And now the fans, because we're all super fans, like hyper super fans, we're like, oh my God, it looks like, but like that would be totally, if I had noticed that, yeah, that would be me. I would be one of those people.
Right.
But they might have no idea of the similarities.
Right. It might just be completely made up. Kind of like this whole Carol craze. It's going to go right now.
What Carol craze?
It's like they're seeing something that's just not there.
What? Wait, who? Oh, the Carol. Yeah, the Carolers. Yeah.
Thank you.
It always throws me off because
Thank
Carol
you.
is Carol and Daryl is always Carol.
It's all Robbie's getting upset. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Am I?
I mean, okay. Here's
Oh, we don't have to get into this.
No. This is my biggest reason why I don't ever want Carol and Daryl to have a romantic relationship, because I feel like that opens the door for killing one of them. And I don't ever want that to be the case.
Right.
That's what happens in relationships. So as long as they are never romantically involved, in my mind, they're safe from death.
Right.
So that's really my only justification.
That's like the Glenn paradox, right? Like as soon as
See?
Glenn kills, he's on the chopping block.
See?
Moral compass turns into murderer. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sound like that's why when our Carol said OG Squawk and D Carol G, let's make that clear. Which is why I have to say that, because she had this theory, and it really, really changed my mind that like Daryl is not that Daryl's asexual, but like and I kind of took it a little bit further, and I said, but yeah, I mean, sexuality aside, I was thinking, oh, it totally makes sense that they wouldn't pair up Daryl because of two reasons. One, and I like this reason more, trolling the audience, because they're so stuck on Daryl and Carol that it's just kind of like they're missing the whole idea of him never being with anybody. Mm-hmm. And like, so I like the writing idea of trolling the audience, right?
Sure.
But then there's a whole other idea, and it's kind of a grander idea, which is, Daryl, I think, is supposed to personify this kind of, like, he's ostensibly a child. I mean, I think look, would you agree that perhaps Daryl is actually a virgin?
Yeah, actually, I was going to bring that up. We had talked about that on a past show, and I had heard that theory before too. It would make sense. I could see that. Yeah, I could. It would make sense if we found that out.
Right,
somehow.
right. So let's take that a little further. Like, ostensibly, like Daryl is kind of just relearning how to be an adult. Like, he knows how to survive. Obviously, he knows how to. I mean, he even knows what it means to take care of somebody. I mean, from his brother, technically, I'm talking about like Merle. Like, as much as Merle was an asshole, Merle took care of Daryl. You know? To the point where, like, okay, he enabled him to do as much as possible. He would rag on him to try further. He'd shit on him when he got something wrong, but then he learned from it, right? But all of that aside, like, he is a human that is still in, like, I mean, maybe he's gotten to a point where it's, it's equalized, but he's still a human in progress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to love. So taking that into account, maybe he's finally caught up with everybody mentally, like, in terms of wanting to be with someone. But I think it's just one of those things. It's like exactly like you said. And I said this to Robbie earlier. I said, like, there is something about, like, him having someone would be a signal that the show, or at least the TWD series, would start to come to an end.
I agree.
Because he's been all about keeping everybody else safe,
and
keeping most people at arm's length too. So it would signal two things: that one, he's ready to move in with the family, and two, he's ready to to accept, like, the love of somebody else, as an adult, finally an adult.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's not like he's ever really had I mean, we can assume what his life was like growing up. I mean, based on how him and Merle were as adults, right? I mean, doesn't exactly seem like he's been given and shown a lot of love growing up. So he probably has no idea how to do that.
Right.
And for as long as we've seen this character, he's almost always been in a position where he's given orders. As much as he would deny it, he does take orders from people. I don't think he's capable of making good decisions, but I feel like he kind of needs, I mean, he's not a soldier, but he almost needs somebody kind of telling him what to do. And without Rick there, I mean, nobody's really telling him what to do. And he ran away to the woods for 6 years.
Yeah, he's trying to find himself. I mean,
yeah.
I do want to take it back to the episode though, because I think we beat that dead horse.
We could go all night on this.
It's like a horse walker now.
I was actually thinking earlier when we were talking how much Alicia has been reminding me of Carol this season too. Oh, how she's she went crazy, was like the killer, right? Killed everything and cleared everything, and now she's stepping back and painting trees. Cleared everything? And right? Yeah. She's kind of stepping back and painting trees and taking a softer approach to things. And that was kind of how Carol got when she started making that list of all the people she had killed, and was like reminding herself of everything she had done and feeling guilty about it. And I don't think Alicia necessarily feels guilty, but I think she recognizes that she needed to take a step back and kind of remember who she was as a person, not just a killer.
Right.
Clearer.
right. Which is like, I think we brought this up a little bit, but like the idea of her, because we didn't know if she was an artist, but like we knew that Matt Sale was, so maybe, her boyfriend in the pilot. So, who was now on Cameo.com. So,
right?
The giveaway. Did I even say the giveaway? We got 2 weeks left.
No, we didn't bring up the giveaway.
Because we were about to, and then I got sidetracked for some reason. Oh, because of the audio thing. But anyway, Matt Sale is actually, his name is Maestro Harrell. He's on Cameo.com. We added like Xander Berkeley, Maestro Harrell, and what was the last one?
Thora
Birch, Gamma in the new season of The Walking Dead. So we are up to 30 people you can get a shout out from on Cameo.com if you'd only enter. So why haven't you?
Right. So why haven't you entered yet?
Yeah, squawkingdead.com. And just start entering email address and name as you start entering, so that it'll track your entries and you'll be good to go. But other than that, so the art roots, it's just, I said this earlier to somebody else who was complaining about sexism. I don't want to talk about that because I didn't really get into that. I said, it's really subjective. You could call it sexism, but I think there's something kind of also like disingenuous about saying that, because my prime example
she's painting.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, she's taking a back seat. Alicia's in the back of the bus on this one.
I think Alicia set herself back there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
That's yeah.
And so, and I'll get to that, but like my counter was June. Like, you took a runner, a person who ran away from, didn't tell people her name, and you rebuilt her up into this, like, this strong person jumping over car hoods and killing walkers. Right. Even has pretty good aim with John Dorie, like when it comes to shooting things. I mean, and then you take it back to Alicia. Alicia saw what she was becoming, and this like kind of two-dimensional killing machine. And I can't believe people don't really see this. She's just bent on clearing and keeping everybody safe. And who does that remind you of?
Morgan.
A little, yeah, definitely
when he went
Morgan.
Crazy.
But if you look at her outfit from even the season premiere of this season, she looks a lot like Madison. With her with the heavy leather. Yeah, because Madison had that jacket almost throughout her entire run, except for the last season. At certain points, you could tell she was softening, so they put her into different clothes, which is interesting, like how that kind of comes about. But going back to the point, like you need like this unidimensional killing machine. I'm determined to keep everybody safe, and that wasn't good for her, and she decided to tear herself down and build herself back up again. And then when they see her painting the trees in this episode. I wanted to bring this up a little earlier, but it was kind of like, what do you expect? Do you expect her to reach her full potential right away? She only decided this a couple episodes back.
Right. let her figure it out.
Yeah, let her figure herself out. Give her room to breathe
Yeah.
and figure that out, because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same with Morgan's arc. Morgan's arc was very long and very
Yeah.
painful to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
I think another reason Alicia,
is,
you know, because
is Eric clapping?
yeah, he's letting the dog out.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
He's
clapping at
getting her
my
back.
thing. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a round of applause. I think another thing Alicia finally realized is that she was able to trust the people around her. I think for a long time she saw herself as the only person who could do this. She had to do this because nobody else could.
Right.
And I think she finally was able to look around and say, you know, I'm actually surrounded by capable people. They can look after me for a minute.
I just felt the Holy Spirit come over me when you said that. Because you're right.
Yeah.
You know? Like, she can trust those around her. They're all freaking badasses.
Yeah. That's a good feeling.
Even Luciana.
Even Luciana.
I see you people. She just gets hurt. Like,
well, it's been like, what, 4 episodes and she hasn't gotten hurt? I'm very impressed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of impressed with the way she's taken charge of Tanktown, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, she has, like, a purpose, which is, like, a recurring theme. Like, people finding their place. People refinding their place in the universe.
Yeah.
You know? What they were, you know, trying to survive, that's not the game anymore. The game is meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But everybody has purpose. And that's our group's message, where Ginny's just, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't fit her purpose,
you
then
smash
you're
that.
useless.
Yes. And Tom said it too. Tom is like,
Yeah.
everybody has, everybody's important. I forget what he said, how he said it exactly.
Yeah. Everybody.
Never
Yeah.
wrote it down.
Something like that. Everybody has purpose, or everybody can do something. Yeah.
Everybody can.
I don't remember the line. Everybody can do something.
Yeah.
See, Daniel, you know, and then Daniel, is there a barber shop there?
Yes.
Everybody needs a haircut too. That'd be me.
It's funny how.
Where can I cut?
You know, it's funny. He brings this up in the episode, I think, or no, he brought this up in that ATX Festival interview. If you guys haven't watched that, we posted that, I think, either last week or sometime this week. We posted the ATX Festival. You could probably get a glimpse of it in the Instagram, and then we reference it. But either way, somebody asked him this question: do you think the barbershop was something that he did, or? And he's like, no, the barbershop originally was like was kind of like an extension of what he was when he was in the army. He was an intelligence. And there's this whole backstory to Salazar that comes with his character. And he mentions how because he was an intelligence, it would only make sense that he became a barber, because, you know, his whole thing is asking questions and then allowing people to speak, you know, while they're getting their hair. Exactly. While they're getting their haircut.
Yep.
But it's odd how
we do a lot of listening behind the chair.
Yeah, while that was his cover, like as an idea of him being a barber, like look how the tables turned. Like he was really a soldier who was trying to cover himself up and use the barber as a mask. Mm-hmm. Now he is a barber, in a way. Like he's a barber that really puts on the soldier outfit every now and again, you know, or not even. And I find that really interesting that reverses. The same thing with June. June was a runner, you know, who you know, put on the facade of a fighter, you know, which I guess this is how I thought of her when I saw her jump out of that van with the vultures.
Oh yeah.
She had that Mad Max, you know, plait on the side, you know, and then like, yeah, but she was still running. She took the one. I mean, if you want to look at parallels, she took the one option she had left after the diamond fell, and look at what the group is doing right now.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and June is a different person now. June is like this badass Carol-like character. I mean, I'm put my balls on the table and say, yeah, that's the one. You know, so I think, I mean, if you look at scenes of her in action scenes, she is amazing. Actually. Yeah, I wish I was keeping up with the chat, because you guys are killing it right now. I mean, most of everybody's on YouTube right now, which is.
I wish I could see it. I can't see it.
I'll give you. We're gonna figure this all out before. Well, when we figure this out for the
later, some other time.
The TWD premiere, we're gonna be doing things a little bit differently, so you will get to see the chat. But the problem is that we're gonna be doing it. We're gonna be pre-recording it and then being in the chat during the premieres. Except for other things, but we'll reveal all that later. We're gonna have to reveal it at some point too, because we only got 2 weeks left. But anyway, so let's moving along. I think we beat that one too. We beat one the dad. It's a pace now. June is amazing.
Yeah, anyway. She is. She really is. Can't say it. Can't say it enough.
Yeah.
I had a lot of feelings at the end when everybody was considering what to do, and just watching Dwight's reaction to all of that. That really got me.
Oh yeah.
Because he's, what did he say? If you do this, there's no going back. He knows. He would know better than anybody. If you ask the devil for help, the
devil's gonna get his cut or his due. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he pulled out, see, that's the thing. I was almost jarred when I saw him pull out the gun on Ginny. Here are two diametrically different, like completely contrapositive characters. You've got Victor, who knows her act, who can sit back and go like this, with his hands behind his head. I have to describe it for the audio podcast. And go, I know your shtick. I'm comfortable. This is my zone. I know what you're up to. So hey, what do you propose after we go with you? He goes, so everybody's gonna have their place, and then he knows the act. It's just an act. Like you can't con a con man, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But then you have this diametrically opposed kind of person. Like you have Dwight, and when Dwight hears the very thing that he kind of wants to hear, the kind of thing that he kind of written off, he reacts in such a way that he's like, he can't see the forest for the trees when it comes to. Like,
oh no!
Because for all so she is right in that there's no way she could have known her name because it wasn't on the videos, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, don't give me false hope, or don't make me come to Negan. Don't make me fall into this position again. Only Dwight knows this. Like the group, I don't think knows the extent to which he suffered under Negan.
No, I don't think he's told anybody, not even Al's camera. Like he'll just sort of hint to it, I've dealt with things like that and I've had to do things and, to that effect. But I don't think anybody really knows his Morgan knows the most. Yeah. But still not everything.
And even then, exactly. What does Morgan know really? This is like one of the biggest questions I asked when Morgan meets Dwight, because I don't even know if he knows the kind of interactions I don't think he's had much.
Well, I started thinking about this after we were talking about it when when Dwight helps Daryl get back to Alexandria, and it's right at the end of the episode, and Daryl pulls everybody into the jail cell. Morgan's there, isn't he? When Dwight explains how he's going to help everyone. I believe Morgan's there.
Oh, because maybe
in the jail cell. Well, there's 6 or 7 people all standing around right there, and Rick pulls his gun and puts it right in Dwight's face, and he says that I'm gonna tell you how to beat him. I think Morgan was there, so I think he at least knows that Dwight, was gonna help us. But other than that, I mean, he probably has just the worst information about him.
I think he was at Hilltop though, wasn't he?
At that time,
we're talking about Morgan, right? Yeah.
Morgan, yeah.
I think he was at Hilltop. I want to say that
he might have been. I'd have to go back and rewatch this scene.
He raided
I remembered him in the jail cell.
Yeah, he raided the satellite station with Andy, who met his demise, and some other dude, I think. And that's when he started going crazy, because he got shot and somehow survived. 'Cause I don't die, and
right,
and almost killed the Saviors then and there until somebody came in and told him to stop. I'm not sure about the timing on that, but yeah. Okay. I think, see, that's why I think I don't know of how many interactions he's had. And maybe the legends have come out about his burnt face and how that happened, but, you never know.
Yeah, who knows?
Because then Morgan immediately sequestered himself right after the war. Yeah.
Well, I mean, regardless, Morgan knows some stuff about Dwight, but not everything.
Right, exactly. Yeah, which is the entire point of this, So when they see him pull out his gun, it's kind of like, it's surprising to all. Except for Virginia. I also noticed the fact...
she didn't look too shaked.
Yeah. She kind of is like, no, hold on. I know this is what you want. So, I also noticed like it's very interesting that the people that were affected by Ginny the most were people where they called her Virginia. So it's like, fuck you, I'm not calling you your dumbass nickname because you think you're cool and like and so amiable and personable and friendly. My friends call me Ginny. I'm like, nah. No thanks, Virginia. It's like your mom. Right. Virginia Madison Clark. What? Wait, what? What if Virginia's Madison?
What if Virginia's Madison?
Boom, Tom.
Ginny is Madison.
Boom. And Blazy.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, I loved how Tom showed up in Virginia's video, too. That was Al's footage. So she's splicing some of Al's movie in there into her own video.
So you can see how, like, Althea is really pissed about that.
Well, yeah.
Like, Althea's committed to the truth, period.
She smashed the TV.
Yeah. This is like so that's what's very interesting about, like, that last episode near the end where they're sitting down on the couch and, like, you know, while all this is going on, some assholes in the back's like editing all that footage that they just took. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, Ginny knows Althea's journalistic, you know, integrity. You know, she knows exactly what's going to push her buttons. And so when she slips that tape in, you know, it's like she knew. So, like, she's sitting there the whole time and like about jams and apricot jam and all that stuff, and like, oh, this whole time it was just really kind of to buy some time to get this tape back in the bag. Oh, I forgot your bag, here you go. I'm like, okay.
Jeez.
So, like, and now I'm wondering what the hook is with Morgan, though, because I've just found it really odd that they fixed Morgan's stick. Like, what do they see in Morgan right now? Like, I mean,
well, he doesn't die. That's helpful.
I don't think he mentioned that in videos. But
yeah, he might have left that tidbit out.
Yeah, it's a secret weapon.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Yeah, you also see the dude that actually repaired his stick, because that was on the video too. They took the time to film the dude fixing his stick, also, because that was his stick. The dude in the video, the wreck and rink guy, the old man who says a wreck and a rink, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
what the fuck is that? Like, I think recreation center, roller rink, or like ice rink, right?
Oh, okay. So, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
In another frame, he's actually making the joint from Morgan's stick again. So, like, I'm thinking to myself, is this thing going to actually hold up? I don't know.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, because, I mean, Althea's tapes didn't hold up because they took advantage, so who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do know all 5 keys to the kingdom, apparently. The kingdom, or a key to the future, rather.
Oh, yeah?
We got the Paradise Ridge condo, obviously. Superlands, which we talked about last week, the bowling alley. Now, the third one's a logging camp. Okay, so let's examine each of these, right? Paradise Ridge, it seems like they've got not only an inventory of canned goods and all that stuff, but they have some sort of farming going on there, right? What resource would they need a bowling alley for? I was thinking, like, each one of these, you know, like a wreck and a rink, like what could you do there? Because, I mean, I'm looking at all this and I'm trying to figure out
like for living, like to live there, right? Not just, and not the obvious entertainment, you know, to have fun. But I don't know. I mean, a bowling alley is just one big room. It's not like you could have you can't. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's a pretty dark room at that. You know what I mean? Yeah,
they could turn the black lights on. That'd be fun.
I know, and I keep thinking of this like, oh, it's obviously a place to grow weed. It's the only thing I could think of, and I can't. I'm stuck.
You don't grow weed with black lights.
No. I'm talking about like solar lights or something. I don't know. Oh, because there's no purpose to like having like this lane of just nothing. You know, like
no.
So my mind just goes instantly to like weed or something.
I have no idea. I mean, unless they're using what's in the bowling alley. I mean, they could pull up the planks from the lanes and use them as other things.
That's a good point. And then there's the next one's the logging camp, right? So that's an obvious one. So you need wood to make structures and stuff like that.
Anything, yeah.
And a wreck and a rink. Again, we're back at bowling alleys and a wreck and a rink. I'm sorry, it just keeps playing in my head. But I guess
so. Before we saw that guy fixing Morgan's stick,
Mm-hmm.
all the things that people were saying, I think it was a while before anybody had actually said her name either. I really thought they had taken all of that footage from Al, and they were just
Right.
going to make it look like these people were talking about Virginia.
Right.
But then they
right.
started saying her name, and I'm like, okay, well, there
and
goes
then
that theory.
and then the person who said country club happened to it looks like she was in the country, or no, she couldn't have been in the country club, or maybe she could have. I don't know.
It looked pretty nice behind her. I was thinking she was there.
Yeah, but and maybe this is just me picking at things, which is rare in terms of continuity. Like, how would they have gotten all that footage in time to make this video overnight, right? Like, they don't have to go to the country club all the way over there.
That's assuming they were using Al's camera, right?
Well,
we don't know that they have their own.
Even with their own, but then they have to get the tape over to edit it, and I mean,
yeah,
it's a tough sell unless they and this,
don't think too hard about it.
right. Well, I'll say this before we move on, unless they had already thought of doing a tape like that, like a while ago, and they had this footage ready.
Yeah,
because they had to put all of it together. You know what I mean?
Ginny's comment to Al about, oh, I'd never thought about doing a tape by blah, blah, blah. Like, it could have been total sarcasm. Like, we're already working on one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sounds like Ginny.
You never thought of a documentary. Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Documentary style. Well, and so going off of all this. So wait, did we mention the country called Wreck and a Rink? So all of that aside, okay, it's a kind of a jumble right now. But the one thing I wanted to focus on was what she said at the end. And she said, like, our keys. If you see someone have one of these and one of these, like she points to the hat and the key on the shirt that she has, or the jacket. Just say hi, because we're here to help. And then like, each one of us holds a key to the future. So boom. There's no way. Like, I'm too... You know how some people are convinced about things that have no evidence?
Yeah.
This isn't one of those. I mean, you could not blame me for thinking that I was right last week. There's just no way. And she actually said a key to the future.
A key to the future. Yeah.
Like,
it's got to be a link.
Right. Before it was like, there's the key. And then we're about the future. And then, like, today they just put those two words together. This is like a Sesame Street episode. Key? Future. Key? Future. A key to the future. Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. No, you're not wrong.
Pretty much, Grover. Goodbye.
Yeah. I don't know. So what do you think, though? I mean, do you think they're, like, in contact with Georgie, or do you think maybe Georgie just was sort of breezing through and dropped off some information, and then Ginny's just sort of took it and ran with it and turned it into her own idea?
More the latter.
Yeah.
Definitely. But you have to keep in mind how Georgie operates. Like, Georgie saw... Okay, let's just go back to Rick's group. Or, well, Maggie's group, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Georgie saw Maggie's operation. She goes, I want in, and you want in. And I'm going to convince you that you want in. And then she drops... Well, she doesn't at first drop the key to the future. She asks for vinyl records, just like Daniel. And goes, I mean, just kidding. I mean, we've been watching you. Here you go. Here's a key to the future. This will give you everything that you need to do to kind of prep yourselves for a better life. And so she says something innocuous. She goes, I'll be checking up on you in, like, after a while to see how you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she did the same thing with Virginia. And she basically said, hey, here's the key to the future. And Virginia's like, oh, yeah. Oh, I'll make you proud. And then, like, and that includes killing people who are not non-essential, or don't have a purpose. And then George is going to check back and, like, I mean, that could be part of the last episode, is that Georgie checks back and goes, no, he did it all wrong. You're supposed to get me records. That's true. So you did that. Thank you very much. But the killing people, doesn't seem very practical, does it? It?
We're gonna have to talk about that.
Yeah, you have to get me more records. I don't know. But even Georgie herself almost doesn't feel like Because I mean, this is what's been bothering me about Georgie, the idea of Georgie, the idea of the Commonwealth or New World Order or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The more I look at Georgie, the more I see that she doesn't resemble much of what her character is based off of in the comic. Like, there's elements of it that ring very true, but there's other elements that make me think I don't sense A's and B's from Georgie. I don't sense, this is what you need to do to survive, whack off things that are non-essential. I look at Virginia and she doesn't have an A and B. She just has I guess what would be a B. Like, if you're a B, you survive. If you're an A, you're gone. Where meanwhile, A's had like a specific purpose. Like they were more like the servant class. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Virginia doesn't really seem to abide by that. That's kind of furthering my point. Like, I think Georgie is kind of like by extension, Virginia is a splinter of the Commonwealth, but like only in as much as Georgie is also a splinter of, what this new world is, this new world order, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't seem to operate that way. Yeah.
It does kind of, I mean, if we're comparing Georgie to, Pamela from the comic books, the only thing that I do see a lot of similarities, a lot. And I do see some differences as well. For instance, how she travels with the twins. I mean, that's some sort of security, but if we were to compare her to comic book Pam, like, she would have taken an entire entourage with her. Like, this woman does not get within like 5 feet of walkers. Like, she's just like, go take care of that. Like, she's probably never killed a walker a day in her life. Like, she's just surrounded by people. Pamela in the comic books. Yeah. I think she surrounds herself with people. She's a politician.
Right.
That's what she does. She gets other people to do her dirty work for her.
Female Gregory.
Like a female. Yes, exactly like that. So the difference I see in Georgie on the show is she's not surrounded by as much protection as I would expect.
Right. Right. No Mercer
too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the twins are, like I said, they're armed, but they're not like full in combat gear or anything. So
right. And I'm assuming that this is what she's about, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think whatever. Would you agree that I think there will be changes in how there have to be changes in how they treat this? These groups that we don't really know much of. I mean, just simply on the face of Dwight not being where he's supposed to be, maybe.
You mean on the show he's supposed to be?
Well, in the comic. Like Sherry, the nature of Sherry, the interactions with Rick, they're all gone. How she dies, but she's here now, so... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, everybody's talking about Princess, and since none of the other hosts are here, I wanted to briefly refresh people on what I think they're going to do with Princess, or what I think they should do. I mean, they should really make... Everybody's saying Michelle Rodriguez, by the way, which I think is great, but I think she's a little older than maybe she should be.
I agree.
I don't even know if you heard my theory. I think if
and when we've talked about this.
Yeah, if and when they introduce Princess, I think it should be a trans character.
We did not talk about that. Okay, but I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Right. This is just off the page. Yeah. I mean, not that should have to be a thing. Let me make that very clear.
Yeah.
But I do think if you're going to go that direction, just make it loud. Make it loud, make some changes.
That character is loud. She is very loud and in your face and very eccentric, and I absolutely love her, and I want that character on the show so badly. She could even show up on Fear. Just the way things are progressing right now. Huh. We could see that character on Fear, and I would be totally fine with that. I just want to see that character. I am so excited.
Actually, when you say that, thinking of how the suspension of disbelief is really being challenged in this season, that makes so much more sense, doesn't it?
That she would be on Fear?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, the storyline is, going down that road. And during the course of figuring out this new world is when we meet Princess.
Yeah. I mean, taking it to a whole other level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think doesn't she? Oh, okay. You know what? We're verging on spoilery territory ish, but only because like we can say all these things from the comic, but at the same time, we don't know how she's gonna look like, or if they're even gonna introduce her.
I was gonna say they might not even. That might not be a character we even see. Period.
Yeah. Because she strikes me as dangerous, you know, like as like risk-taking, dangerous, and how is that compatible with this kind of world? Unless it's maybe fear, right?
Oh, she is a total badass.
Yeah,
total badass. But, like her and Alicia would get along.
Right, but how does that translate? Yeah. Like if you think about like the environment that Texas is, and how that's we've said that's the antagonist, you know?
Yeah.
And thinking of, I mean, just this world in general, like. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to make it, I don't know. She's going to have to come on the scene, but I can't really, I can't see it, but I would love for them to do it. Because I would love to see what they do with this character.
I agree. I would really like to see this character.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm going through my head, like, who would play her? Who would be a good person to play her?
Oh, man. You know what?
Yeah. I'm gonna make a list tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make a list. I mean, I would basically choose a whole bunch of trans actors.
But I think the age has to be right too, because I think Princess she's young. She's very young. I don't know if I would say teenager, but
no, like
early 20s at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe mid. Let's go with that.
Maybe
let's just use 20s.
That's pushing it.
Let's use 20s. Yeah.
Like under 25,
because she has to be old enough to have made it this far. and when that's why it makes more sense that she's in fear, because you're talking about like 6-year time jump, right? Oh man, this is bending my brain, because I mean she would have to have made it through teenage years all the way to her 20s, let's say, and then let's assume they catch up with the TWD, then she's gonna be 30 or 27, 28, depending, right? And that's kind of your looks change dramatically in those 10 years. I think, in my opinion.
Sure.
So then you'd have to age her a little bit. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, this is going down the road, but I enjoy thinking.
Whatever
about
they do with her, I hope we do see that character.
Yeah, it's funny to think about how the timeline works, because you've got fear, which I think they may even keep in the quote unquote past, right? And you have TWD, which is kind of in the present, even though they're kind of jumping ahead a little bit by every season. But then you have this new series that takes place way in the future, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they play with time. Wait, hold that thought right there, because we have to get Instagram back up. I saw the time tick down, and I was just kind of like,
it'll be fine.
Kind of watched the ball drop. Ay ay ay, ay 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 ay. Oh no! Broadcast, you bitch. Okay, yeah, I think we got it. Okay, let me see if this works. Info. Okay. Perfect. That's great. Let me just try this again. And no live viewers. Okay, at least the command works, so I'm good. Okay, yes.
All
so, right. And then we have this new series that takes place in the future. So it's going to be interesting to track. It's going to be hard to track all this continuity stuff. You're going to have nuggets from the past interfacing with the present and the future at some point.
Has there been anything said about how far into the future the new series will be?
If I'm right, and I'm usually not. No, it's not true.
That's not true.
If I had to take a guess, it would have to be far enough for a child from Fear the Walking Dead, perhaps, or an adult to have a kid. a teenage kid, 14 years. So I would have to venture, let's say it's another 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
So fear is would be 12 to 14 years in the past. Somebody has a kid back then.
Okay.
That makes it into the future.
So if John and June had a baby right now.
That's what I was thinking.
This kid could show up on, okay. Or possibly Rosita's baby.
Or Grace and Morgan. No, Rosita's baby would be too young. She'd be 6 or 7. Oh,
okay, yeah. Because technically this baby would be born before Rosita. Okay, yeah.
Right. And then
I don't think Grace would survive pregnancy.
Oh my God. Oh, speaking of, I don't know why I said speaking of. I have to look at the chat. You're my babies.
Speaking of not having children.
Oh, my babies! I almost ignored you. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe Alicia and Wes/Derek.
Well, we know what the kids look like too, which complicates things even more.
That's true.
Because so we have Grace and Morgan, which could be damn, I forgot their names. Dude, we covered this months ago.
We did. Oh, it was a long time ago. All I remember is Lucas. He's the only one I remember.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. So Annette Mahendru plays, she kind of has a kind of maybe Hispanic accent. Maybe Luciana? Love for Luciana somewhere? Okay. So then then you have and I forget her name. And she's kind of older than the others, I think, too. She's in her 20s, but she can clearly play a teenager. I forget her name. Just the other kind of older, like Annette and her are kind of the same age. She's black. So I was thinking okay, that could be a Morgan child, maybe, right?
Okay.
And then you have the 3 younger teenagers. I'm trying to think. So you have Hal Cumpson, you have what's the other dude's name? Junkie Janker, and I can't remember anything else. So who are those? Could those be but see, the one thing that they mentioned in the sneaks to that series was that you've got 2 siblings. So the same parent who are kind of diametrically opposed to each other at some point.
The parents are, or the siblings are?
The siblings are. So of the same parent. So could the parent be John and June, right? But they would have to be older, wouldn't they? So this is what bends my mind, right?
Well, it also depends on how far into the future the series is. We haven't really nailed that down.
Right. I don't know. But
I mean, what if it's 15 years after, the end of season 10 of Walking Dead?
Oh God. Well, I mean, anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
What if...
It'll be interesting.
No.
I think it'll be really, really pretty too. Honestly, I'm expecting really beautiful scenery in the next series. With because plants have begun to regrow, and I think it's going to be really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least the concept art is amazing, which makes me think a lot of things. And we even postulated that maybe Jerry or Jerry's kids, the telethon,
Jerry's kids
could be part of that group, or come meet these people along the way or something like that. So yeah,
or it's probably a group of kids that have parents that we've never seen or met before, and they're completely separate in every possible way.
There has to be a tie into Fear the Walking Dead. It's been confirmed by Fear's account when they liked my reply. It's based on the events of at least the first half of Fear the Walking Dead's 5th season.
So are we to think that someone's already pregnant?
Oh God. Can you imagine? Yeah, but isn't Annie, just check me on this, but I think Annie, Max, and Dylan are siblings.
I believe so, yeah.
Right. So it can't be with any of them.
No. I think all of those kids were too young.
Yeah.
For that.
There were some
anatomically speaking, I don't think biology is doing that for
has
him
been
yet.
Gracious to
or
what is it, hospitable to the prospect of children, right?
Yeah.
But there were some older kids. That's the other thing. And Charlie might factor into
Yeah.
this, by the way.
That's
She's like
true.
14 now. I mean, she's not gonna. I'm not, like treading on water here, like thin ice here, but yeah, I mean, it would be a while for her to. I could be a while for her to have something. So it would have to be an adult, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man.
We have to move
brought up-
on just for the sake
Yeah.
of time.
Well, you brought up Charlie, and it reminded me of another gut punch this episode towards the end when they're kind of flashing through real quick about why this group is amazing, and Charlie says they forgave me. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm glad you thought that.
Punched right in the gut, and I'm like, you don't you make me feel sorry for you, because I'm not.
Oh, but you're starting to feel it.
It punched me right in the gut.
So you said you were okay. Wait, you hated her this much before. You hated her this much, which is I credit you. That's pretty significant growth.
I've come down.
Now I think you're like here, and this is the bottom right here. You still got this little nugget of hate.
I'll never. That gap will never close. It won't ever close. But we're getting closer.
Yeah,
we're getting closer.
What if she dies?
I don't want to say. I might get in trouble. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Well, that's thus proving that we're all a little different on Squawking
Although
Dead.
I think I've said before, I would be honestly fine if Alicia were this last person standing, with the exception of Morgan, because
Right.
Morgan never dies, or
Right.
Daniel. But
Right. But they'd be somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking.
yeah. They just wouldn't be there. They would already be somewhere else.
There'd be a diaspora of cast.
And I would be devastated, losing June and John, of course. But yeah, for me, it's Alicia's story.
Oh. No, I hear you. Okay. Rack and a rank. Sorry. Slipped in my notes.
Had to slip it in there.
Oh. Talking about kids now.
Switch topics quick.
Hurry. Kids having kids. What?
Okay. I don't know. Now you got me thinking. So there's definitely a link to the first half. All right. Sorry.
Yeah,
We're not going back to that. I'll go back to it tomorrow.
You know what? Yeah. Here's the problem with going too far with this is that, like, you venture into territory where you could be definitely wrong. And so it's kind of like, and then what's the point? You just wasted a whole bunch of time talking about something that the idea will change. I mean, we're going to get more information along the way. We're going to get scenes, teasers, which will be a far better basis to make and to make certain predictions over. So, Tom, I want to talk about Tom for a second, because throughout this episode, he's like a real booster for this group, and let's talk about us finding out that the girl that they saved at the flip flop, I think I forget what the station was, but like the whole Logan repeat incident, and then they saved the girl. Wes saves the girl.
Yeah,
her name is Janice, and that's the sister that left the compound. I don't know how I didn't think of that sooner. Like, did you think of that? I mean,
well, he said her name was Janice, right? We knew we were looking for Janice,
but we didn't know her name when she was saved in that previous episode.
Oh no!
You know what I mean?
At that time, I didn't think that it was his sister.
I didn't connect the dots. Like, I'm not sure anybody really did. But then again, I can see a whole bunch of people not really giving a shit. So that's the other thing.
Well, that's what they're out there doing, They're saving people. So
yeah. So we're like,
could have been anybody. It just happened to be his sister.
Yeah, I just like that tied in really neatly and just slotted in perfectly as they're coming back. It's like, they found me, they saved me. These are people like Ginny was the kind of person that got you to not trust people again, and you guys helped me trust people again. So, thank you for that. And then he's just grateful being alive, and kind of like Dwight looking for Sherry. He's like, as long as I'm out here, I'll find her, and she can't be that far away. So, it's kind of cool that, like, at the same time, we find out that her and him are brother and sister, and it just, but the thing is, and I was going to this is what like interrupted my thought patterns, is that I saw people like really, really going like, oh my fucking God, was this an infomercial? Like a commercial for Convoy, like the A-Team. So, and I'm like, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I think they're trying to hammer down the point that like, this is how we do things. And if we do keep doing things the right way, results will happen. And it's taken a long time for them to get to this point. Think about how things started out at the beginning of the season and look what they are now. Like they're like on the radio going, is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? It's another day here at the denim factory at the mill.
Right.
Like I half expected somebody to like go, good morning, mill. Like just fucking around or something. It's just that boring and nobody's answering.
Yeah.
So like, and then now they're actually helping people, and the group has grown like exponentially or something because they're just tons of people. So, I mean, again, it's just to kind of pave the path for this is where we're at. This is who we are, how we got here, and it's kind of like building an audience too. I was thinking about like how far we've come. Okay, as a podcast, like we started out barely knowing how to grow an audience. You had people like, by the way, I mean, credit to Johnny Fives Alive, who just popped onto Instagram. Like you have like these people who are like monitoring hashtags, right? TWD, fear TWD, etc. And then they pop on, they like your posts, and then you pop onto theirs, and you're like, damn, that's a good edit, and then you kind of look for each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you could be. Okay, let me put it this way. You can be like Ginny, and you can like do like follow for follow. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I like your music. Want to follow me back? Like you could be like Ginny, or you could be like this group, like making connections. Doing the right thing the right way, following people because you want to follow them, not because you want them to follow you back. Like right. I'm not going to follow somebody who posts. I mean, no offense to anybody, because I would follow you if from my personal account, if you had just pictures of cats and alcohol, right? Like just you drinking drinks, and not your cat drinking drinks. That's abuse. No. But like, you having the cat and put it on his shoulder and you burping the cat, like that's fine. I'll follow you from my personal. I'm not going to follow you from my Squawk and Dead account. I don't need that. I need to be making I need to follow people that I can actually genuinely have interactions with. Right. I see like art, I'll kind of comment on it, or if I see like you're even just like a fan picture, like I can just comment on that picture and we could talk about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's not out of malice. It's more like, I just want to make genuine connections. So and you see that like we started out, we barely had 200 followers like by the time Walker Stalker came out. And now, like, we're getting really close to 1,000. And I've seen accounts hit 1,000 in less than a month.
Holy crap.
Right? Just because of this follow for follow nonsense. Now, that doesn't impress me. That really doesn't impress me. How many likes do you get in return? Oh, you're getting 300 likes? But do anybody really care? I don't think so. Because a lot of the comments, I don't, like, the hearts and the thing, you're not really engaging with anybody. And so... It really kind of hit home for me when I saw that, because when you see this diametrically different way of operating these two groups, it does kind of hit home, like how like you have this bedrock group who many times, Morgan's like, does anybody want out? If it's totally okay if you want to go with her. And not one of these beaten down, back against the wall people are like going to Ginny. They're like staying with the group because they know. And it's kind of like us a little bit. I mean, look, we may eventually get boring and say, I hate Carol. I hate Daryl and Carol, the idea of them being together, and then you'll run away.
Stop.
But I think I don't mean that. So
right.
I still think it.
Everybody's opinions are valid and respected. It's not about quantity; it's about quality.
Yeah, it's totally about quality.
I value everybody that I follow and who follows back, and and I do, like, I see these things, and like you said, you like, you comment, you support, that's how you support people on social media. That's how you network, is by making those comments and connections with people. Who's talking? I see your face.
No, I just see it. They're commenting on the cat thing. Like burping cat. Why is your cat drinking? I don't know.
Too much milk.
I mean,
don't do that either. Cats are lactose intolerant.
If you do have a personal, I don't want you to take a picture from the internet, but if you do have a personal picture of you burping a cat, I want to know, and I will post it to my feed. That's how like badly I'm very interested in seeing that. But again, you have to be the one burping it. So
right.
Anyway, sorry. But yeah, it goes back to the point of like, yeah, it's just making solid connections. And they're saying like, you know, oh, we'll see you at Walker Stalker. I'm like, yes.
Yay.
And yes, that's it. That's what it's about, man.
Yep.
We have to go back. Somebody's talking about Lost. I'm like, oh yeah, that scene reminded me of Lost when they chose between going with Jack or Locke. But the fear group is a lot smarter. yes, they are a little. Well, I mean, that's subjective too, right? Because like by all accounts, they should have gone with Ginny. If you think about it, but I wouldn't have gone. You wouldn't have gone.
No,
you know, we're on the same page. But yeah.
I thought that whole scene was going to go down completely differently too. I mean, considering, you know, Al and Tom had the video recorders going and Ginny knew what they were doing, I for sure thought she was just going to swoop in and help everybody. That way on their video, you know, everybody sees Ginny being a good person and helping. But instead, she really showed her true colors. And that was a bit surprising. I mean, she looked right at Tom and was like, I was going to kill you because of this. Like, do you not see him recording you right now?
I'm not going to apologize for my methods. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is what's going out to everybody.
Well, she never really specifically says what those methods were.
Those are.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. But I think so something Victor says really, really telling, because Victor, again, like we mentioned, like he's wise to her act. But the one thing he says after that, like just really, it gets to her. This was the thing that got her to kind of, and I don't even know if she's fully prepared to do it, but he says that, like, he says, okay, what does he say? He says, and what do we get? You know, I'm hip to your wise. He says specifically something that really resonated with me. And he's like, he knows, so you're all about this creating the future thing. So why are you spending time tracking us? Mm-hmm. Right. And this is really, really, really important, because he's right. Like, if you're all about building the future, why are you, and then it should hit the audience. Ginny is finally showing, because if you look at her interactions with Althea and Morgan, you wouldn't think that she sees these people as a threat.
Right.
She thinks of these people as potential allies, and so better to be on my team, right? But like, I think at one point when she sees them leave, you know, they don't take her up on the offer. She's like, okay, this is going to be a problem. Victor knows, and it should dawn to the audience that, okay, you're concerning yourself with us instead of building the future, because how did you know that where we were, this detour, right? If you weren't like patiently observing on like a walkie, being close by, because she got here pretty quick, right? To the point where she had to use a Jeep to go off-road to track them. Think about that.
Yeah.
With like a light bar too. Like, I noticed some of these things. Like, she has like a full LED bright light bar to see in case they get into any like dark or whatever, and they have to follow them still.
Jeez. Yeah.
And it's pretty expensive
at night, apparently. Jeez.
So, I mean, she thinks these people are that much of a threat. And
she's right.
And what's the threat though, too? They're going to get more footage?
True. Yeah.
Or, you know,
what is she afraid of?
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, your husband said, I'll burp a cat for follows.
Sounds about right.
Touche. I love it. I love you guys. Ginny and Negan sitting in a tree. That's Nisa right there. Yep. Yeah, 100%. I actually commented to somebody, you know, Negan's joke about father, not the father.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ginny's Negan, not the Negan, you know? Mm-hmm. So true. Because, I mean, like, it's like, hey, you kind of like Negan, but not Negan. Not really.
She's a little more subtle. I think she's as ruthless, but a little more subtle about it. Yeah. She's a little sneakier. Yeah,
she's definitely, I mean, you tell me, do you think that she's a lot more clever than Negan?
No.
Let's go editing, cutting floor. That's what happens when you mix Ginny with Negan. You get
Negan, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Do you think she's... That's going to get edited out. Absolutely. Anyway, so yeah. Do you think she's more clever than Negan in some respects?
More clever? Sure. Yeah. I don't know that I would call Negan clever. He's very blunt and upfront about what he wants. I think Ginny is very clever, and I think she was really trying to recruit Al and Morgan when they were sitting on her couch, realized it wasn't going to work, so she had to let him go. She's going to take a different tactic to try and either eliminate the threat or recruit who she can. And that didn't work either. Come with me if you want to live. And that didn't work.
Come with me if you want to live. Yeah, exactly.
That didn't work either. So I think now she's like, okay, well, back to the drawing board. I got to do something. And she's going to think about it. I don't think she's going to come in guns blazing and just, she already did that once too. I do. I think she's a lot more clever. She's going to think about it. She's going to think about what to do next.
Yeah. I can't wait to get the sneak peeks because you think it's going to go, and I almost feel like they should not have shown any sneak peeks because it really thwarts the idea that it's over, because you see things that happen and it doesn't look like the battle is lost.
Sneak peeks are always my favorite part of our episodes because I don't watch them. I don't get to watch them. So I experience them by you describing them.
I'm like the Stephen King of sneak peeks.
Yeah.
He spent the whole chapter describing something. There we go. Oh, Blazey's like, it's Virgin Negan.
Virgin Negan.
There should be
Negan.
I forget, I don't know what the symbol is called, but jalapeno, so it's Virgin Negan.
Oh, the accent sign.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I know it's a tilde, but I don't know if it has an actual name when you put it over the N.
A tilde? Like the little squiggly?
Yeah, the little squiggly right next to the one. That's called a tilde.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that had a name.
Learn grammar with Dave. Anyways, whatever.
I call it the squiggly.
Oh, by the way, that was Blazey that said that. I don't know if I mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah.
I should credit people when they say funny things.
Yeah, don't take their ideas and pass them off as your own.
This was a Squawking Dead original, folks. Virgin Negan.
You heard it here first.
You're welcome. She didn't put this squiggly. I added that. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
when it's over an N, I call it an accent.
And I just made her pee herself. That's great. I love making people pee themselves. Hot take.
I love making people pee themselves.
I love how hot it is in here right now because it's getting really I'm just getting.
Oh, do you want my fan?
Yeah, please.
Here you go.
Wow, thanks, Rachel. This is.
Oh, look at that! Came right through.
The magic of television. Okay. People are still.
I just pictured Steve TV.
Robbie's still laughing at making your cat drink. That's abuse.
It is abuse.
It's like making your cat smoke weed. Funny in concept, but not in action. Don't do that. You don't know what.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
Okay, I'm going to reveal a truth. I'm going to reveal my truth. I don't like animals. I don't dislike animals. I'll say that much. I like holding or petting other people's animals. I do not want them in my life.
There are a lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
you got to take care of them.
Same as kids.
I understand that.
It's just the smells. It's not that.
Well, if you don't take care of them, they can smell.
Somebody actually told me you really should have a dog. And this is during a really rough time in my life. So it was kind of that makes sense. Taking care of something else. It kind of centers you and makes you think about what's important. And I get that.
Sure.
But thank God I got help. Because I did not. Because what if I got the help that I needed and then I'd be like, I don't need you anymore. Where'd you go? I kicked it. No, I don't hate animals. Again, I don't hate animals. It's just the idea of owning one is just alien to me. It's also I don't know.
I have never not had an animal ever. I've never in my life not had a pet ever.
What would it be like for you not to?
I don't know, but I currently have 3 cats and a dog. Yeah, I currently have 3 cats and a dog, and they're all They're all over 10. And so when the time comes and I find my house animalless, I'm going to try that on for a size for a little bit. I'm going to see how that goes. I give myself about a week. I give myself about a week, 2 tops.
Okay.
So I don't think I could do it without an animal.
So you're gonna wait till each one of them dies off, or
well, no. I'm saying when they when I don't have any more. Yeah, I mean, eventually
that's
they
what
pass.
you're saying.
That's what happens. Animals do die eventually. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. That does happen in the natural course of life.
True fact.
Yeah. So when their time comes,
right,
and we don't have any more animals, we're gonna hang out with none for a while.
Right.
See how that goes.
See how that fits. Gotcha.
Never done it before, so
that's interesting.
Try it.
I like people like figuring themselves out without something. Like it's like parents when their kids leave the nest. They find out they don't love each other or something.
That could happen, or sometimes they find out the kids are the reason they hated each other, and now the kid's gone.
Good, you kids were awful. I'm so glad I have a weight room next to like where your room stood. It's great. There's like
my mom turned my room into an office.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yep.
I really hope that my parents do something like that too.
My brother's room is still perfectly intact though, so just yeah. So you know where we both rate in our parents' hearts.
You shaved your what? I always knew you were an idiot. Right?
Yeah, his bedroom's a shrine and mine's my mom's office.
Do they have a Nair Tamid in his room? So funny. But I'm sorry, I obviously brought up feelings right now.
No,
anyway,
I'm just kidding.
No, because you're like, because that's funny because you can like tease him like, oh, your mom's favorite.
Well, I do tease him because he's been in Vegas for the past few years, and since he's been gone, I'm the favorite now.
Really? Oh, like you don't call, you don't come back?
Yeah.
Right?
And I love it. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Oh, that's
actually, my stepdad tells me all the time I'm his favorite son. I even signed his Father's Day card this year. Love your favorite son.
Boom, boom, boom.
And I make sure and tell my brother that as often as I can.
Right.
Oh, what makes this funnier is that the dad I'm referring to is actually my stepdad. It's my brother's real dad.
Ooh,
my dad. I unfortunately lost my dad 16 years ago, but yeah. So my dad is actually his dad, my stepdad, and I'm still his favorite son.
Right. That's so sweet too. Like, oh, it's delicious.
Oh, it makes it even better. Yeah, makes it even better.
It is because he's an asshole, right? Because he doesn't call or he doesn't like check in.
He does. He actually does. No,
Once a month.
My brother's more of a mama's boy. Yeah,
oh,
and I've always been daddy's girl.
Huh,
when my dad was alive and now my stepdad and I are close. So.
That's really cool. So our story had a happy ending.
That's right.
The shrine to your brother, and then but I got the last laugh.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry. Oh, damn! I have to edit that out now. Okay, so the bridge scene itself, I kind of want to talk about that. Like right after Ginny calls the kids to dinner. Prepare.
That line. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. That was I did enjoy that line from her.
Yeah, it was in the sneak peek for last week. Yeah, and then but just that whole, and she even uses the soup thing reference again too, right?
Oh yeah,
so something
soup du jour.
Yes, again, thank you. I had forgotten the line. Yeah, but like something about being fixated on food. It makes you think like I gotta have a survival group. I want my soup. Like. I don't know.
She's always thinking about food.
She thinks
here, have some jam, have some jelly.
Yeah, it's like all these liquid foods. Like what's up with you?
Yeah.
Like it's a little if it's not wet, it's like a jelly, so it's a little viscous. And then she calls spaghetti not simple.
What?
And then
I missed that one. Spaghetti is not simple.
No. She calls like that she used this expression and spaghetti isn't simple or something like that. And I'm like, I wrote in my notes, spaghetti is simple, dummy.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, like your expression doesn't make sense. Like she got dropped on her head a little bit too often. That's why the hat looks like this. It has like a little flap up. That's where she fell on her head.
That was where she got dropped.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's up there with Grace's candy beansies.
Oh my God. But like, I loved when we talked about that because I got to talk about like immigrant parents and not knowing exactly what things are called. Cause that, I never really went into it with me, but my mom did that a whole lot as a kid.
Really?
A whole lot. She, it's not even worth, it's kind of boring because like, but it's like certain foods like, like potatoes au gratin. She says it the right way because it's actually French, which is au gratin, right? It's like,
yeah.
So that's how she says it. So as
Put a little
kid,
flair on it. Yeah.
Can you imagine as a kid saying that to all your friends who are American?
Yeah.
Who have been here
you probably got teased a little bit, I imagine.
Yeah. I'm gonna run home to have my favorite dish au gratin. Like
who's this fancy pants? What do you have? Potatoes? Okay.
Run along home, pansy.
Right.
Well, au gratin, if everybody wants to know, is when you use milk as a sort of kind of like a sauce. It's like a milk sauce. So it's milk, salt, flour, So it's like a drop shy from it being a roux or because the roux would need butter and the mornay would need cheese. Ha!
Yeah.
I'm the mac and cheese club. I know my facts. So that's what. So if you make potatoes au gratin, it's like milk and salt and So and then you bake it and then it's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Anyway,
I think a lot of parents had different words for things with their kids. Sometimes it was because they couldn't pronounce things or I mean, my son and I have a little thing. The popsicles that come in the plastic. Mm-hmm. And you the freezy pops and you push them up. We call those soxicles because they're cold, and so we get a clean sock and we put the popsicle into a clean sock, and that's how he holds on to it. He would always complain that his hands were cold, so I slipped it into a clean sock one day, and
that's so funny.
The soxicle was born.
That's like the origin of the soxicle.
The soxicle.
Wait, my mom actually had a word for that. I can't remember what it was now, just because it's so long ago. But I laughed as you were saying that because I remembered something really funny that I probably shouldn't say. Okay.
Uh-oh. Say it.
But I'm gonna say it. My mom didn't know what the word for diarrhea was.
Okay.
Can't believe I'm talking about this on the podcast. So you know how how candy beansies are jelly beans?
Yeah.
She called diarrhea.
Oh no.
I'm making sure you're not drinking. She called it water cocky.
Okay. I'm
about to pass out. It's so hot in here, and there's no blood in my head right now.
Oh my God.
Is Instagram still broadcasting? No, they cut your feed because you're an idiot.
Oh, stop. Oh my gosh.
And now,
why? It hasn't been an hour. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, and here's the really sick part. Like when I was like 6 or 7 years old, right? And it was my mom's dad's funeral, and I was sick.
Oh no.
Can you imagine my mom taking a break from grieving for her father to go to me on the side and go, "Oh, mommy, you had water cocky?"
Oh no.
In front of everybody.
Oh yeah.
But like forgetting her grief for the moment to take care of her child and saying that.
Oh.
But here's the twist. The twist is everybody else in the funeral was like her. So they didn't react to. So I'm sitting there thinking, thank God of my immigrant family. We're all thinking alike because you can only.
That's
imagine,
what they all call it, right?
Yeah, the one American friend would be like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Oh my God.
You know what really makes me nervous, Rachel, is that nobody's reacting to this in the chat.
Oh no.
Are we still streaming?
Oh my gosh.
Are we still streaming?
You said water cocky and it cut us off.
Cut the feed, copyright strike.
You broke the internet.
Oh, Blazy hasn't said anything, but I'm just imagining a river of pee.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Julia finally laughs. This is how I know that we're still running, folks. Did I lose you?
Oh my gosh. I'm dying.
Do only we find this funny?
I don't, but they're probably too busy dying of laughter to type anything.
That's exactly what Robbie just said. Right.
Oh my gosh. They can't laugh and type. Oh my God.
I was just thinking to myself earlier, like, we need to get a little bit more personal on the podcast. It can't always be serious and deep. And
No.
So going back.
Oh my gosh.
So going back to Candy Beansies. I'll show you Candy Beansies.
Candy Beansies. Oh boy.
What's really, really sad is that I had cut my hair and it's really, really short. And I want to take the hat off, but I will blind people because it's just, I'm just really white today.
Oh no. I've been tanning my dome.
Robbie's like, Robbie says the line, spaghetti is not simple. Yeah. It's au gratin, baby. It's au gratin, baby. Oh, I'm wheezing a little. That's how hard I was laughing. By the way, when we were talking about animals, your husband was like, now Peter's going to boycott the podcast. Right. So we covered all the bases. Child bullying. PETA.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
sorry, he was asking if I needed a drink.
I need a drink. I'm not out. Thank God.
Is that your Dixon Brothers mason jar?
Yes. Switching.
I got mine right here.
But you have an actual one, don't you?
I do. With Dale's cocktail umbrellas.
Aw. Dale Horvath.
Oh, that almost fell on my head. Okay.
Okay, so we need to get back on track.
Yeah. So weddings. We watched a show tonight.
I really liked. Okay, I need to ask you, do you think, because John and June were kind of like, I don't think it's appropriate to have this wedding idea. And Morgan's like, I think this group could use like a wedding. Mm-hmm. And do you agree with June about it not being the right time, or do you agree with Morgan? Because I'm curious. Given the circumstances.
Well, at the time they were talking about it, I did agree with Morgan because they were hopeful that they were going to find the settlement and call it a home and do all that, and that would have been a perfect time to have a wedding. But it's not what happened. I think the right time to have a wedding would be after they find someplace that they can call home for an extended period of time. That would be the time to celebrate.
Right.
But not now.
I agree with you on that one. But I thought the interaction with Rabbi Kessner was actually pretty cool too. And I know that he has got like a shit ton of stuff on his back, by the way. Heavy stuff. I was thinking to myself, like,
I know that was a big thing to be carrying.
It was noteworthy because this group is like so full of hope that they're, and like even like Daniel says, like we should have brought all that stuff. People, they were invested, but like I love Wedding for Gentiles. I've always wanted to do one of those. I thought like it would be kind of cool, like if they did kind of like a Jewish wedding. Actually, I would really like to see John and June have a Jewish wedding. But I think that's how it's going to end up being, right? By the way,
no, can they do that though?
They can't
that
really.
I feel like that would be like blasphemy.
Well, you could probably modify what a Jewish wedding symbolizes, all the blessings. Mm-hmm. And just make it more accessible to like a secular audience too, because the blessings are really, really, they're kind of beautiful. Like talking about the dedication to man and wife, to man, the couple and God, and the idea of long life, and it's just a whole bunch of the 7 blessings, the Sheva Brachot as they call it. So I don't know. It could be. It might end up being adapted anyway. It's like anyway. So just thinking about it. Robbie's got to go. And I'm so glad he made it, by the way. And thank you. And you know what? Yeah, you'll catch the rest of this. I don't think there's too much show left, but don't hold back on my account.
We're nearing the end.
Yeah. And you've always got the audio podcast too. So that'll catch you up real quick. So yeah, and Julie's like, I'd like to see a Jewish wedding too. Yeah, I think so. I think I would too.
I think we'd need a wedding. I mean, they skipped right over Carol and Ezekiel anything that could have happened there wedding wise.
Yeah,
so I think we're owed a wedding.
Yeah, I think we do. And I think, by the way, Jenna was mentioning, like, I think we need a post-apocalyptic wedding.
Yep.
Now the question is, do you think we'll get that this season?
Is the season finale going to be extended? Bye. Do we know if the season finale is an extended episode?
You know what? I'm going to stop the show and check because I'm really curious now.
Knowing that will influence my answer. If it is an extended episode, then yes, we could probably pack everything in there that we need to know and then end on a happy note with a wedding. But if it's a regular size episode, I think we're going to have a lot to pack in with all the information that we've been given so far this season. So I don't think we'll have time for what this wedding deserves.
Right. Yeah, like an addendum or whatever it's going to be. Or if like Blazey's saying, like, you know what, John might die. I mean, it may never happen.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I would like to see the wedding before he dies.
Yeah,
and I want to actually see it. I don't want just little snippets of, you know, here's what happened, and you know what I mean. Like I would really like to see them spend some time on it.
Oh, the season is the season finale Channel 4? No, that was another episode.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they're doing? They're airing all the episodes in order for that Sunday. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're catching everybody up for those 16 hours leading up to. So the last episode is called End of the Line. Mm-hmm. And its runtime is, let's see, 6 days, 20 hours, 53 minutes. So it is, I am not seeing it. Oh, let's look at the overview.
Did you say 6 days?
Oh, cock and balls. Well, it's in 6 days and such and such hours. Okay. I really want to know the runtime, though, but why isn't it telling me, baby? Maybe it's the way I have my window, or maybe it's the pop-up blocker that I don't know. I like how it says John and June make a promise.
Ooh, that could be a little hint at a little wedding thing.
Something.
I know, but again, like I mean, I don't know. I mean, they'll do what they're gonna do, and I'm gonna be happy. But I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more time spent on seeing their wedding instead of like what I'm picturing is, you know, the last scene of season 9 of Walking Dead, how they're in the snowball fight. Nobody's really talking. We're just sort of seeing things happen. Everybody's happy. That's kind of how I picture what they could do to June and John's wedding. Like we see it happening, but just sort of in glimpses and with, pretty music over top. And I feel like that's the wedding we'll see instead of more.
I mean, that's a question because is that the show? Is that the one that we're going to get to? So Sunday, we got Fear All Day, 9:30. No, not the Fantastic Four. 9 p.m. Fear the Walking Dead. See all air times. Oh, Lord in heaven. AMC site is not that much more helpful.
Ah.
All right. If anybody has
what do you think?
Let me know. But I think, no, it's definitely got to be longer. There's just no way.
Yeah.
I mean, do
you think they'll get the wedding in there, or something that looks like a wedding?
I think I don't think we're gonna get a wedding. I'll be honest. I'll totally be honest. Because only reason being because I think we'll get something that resembles a promise, kind of like they say in the episode. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that much. I don't think it's gonna be fanfare. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said if it's going to be a longer episode, they might be able to fit it in.
Yeah. Oh, there's a clip playing somewhere of the Emmys. Motherfuck. Okay, it is 11:10 p.m. on AMC. Oh, I'm looking at Channel 5. End of the line. 9 p.m. on AMC. Oh, this is insufferable. I know I'm spending so much time on this. This is just for your benefit. And nobody seems to have the answer anyway. So.
No.
End of the line. Da, 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 da. Oh, come on. How hard is this? The fucking Emmys keep playing on my fucking thing. Sorry.
What
guys.
if I Google it and find an answer right away?
I literally Googled runtime. Oh, what? Oh. Did you know what that episode would mark the 200th episode of the Walking Dead franchise? Yeah, maybe.
Wait, say that again? This coming finale?
Yeah, this coming finale.
Really?
Is that possible?
Took 8 years to get to the first 100.
While 131 episodes of the original show, The Walking Dead, have been aired, this is the 69th episode of Fear the Walking Dead, which... Oh, yeah. Well, that's interesting. So if you take all the episodes of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, put them together, this end of the line, the season finale of season 5, will be the 200th episode of the franchise.
Wow.
Cheers.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to find this. If you find it, that's fine. I can't. Bleh.
No.
I'll try one more site.
I thought it'd be easier than that too. But so basically I have two answers then. If it's a longer episode, yeah, I think there'd be time to throw in a little wedding, just little something.
They'll do an extended funeral. Aww. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
But if it's a normal runtime episode, then no, I think they'll need to use all that time to pack in a solution to the season.
Right. Let's see. What other things can we talk about? I mean, I love the idea that they brought the idea of Humbug's Gulch back into the picture.
Bringing that back.
It really did kind of give me a little bit of hope for this episode too. Okay, let's talk about hope for a second, because everybody was really, I think I mentioned this, but the idea that there are so many people that criticize this series for, did we go over this? For not having any downturns, everybody's surviving. I know we kind of covered it, but when they reached the end of this episode, I was expecting people to be more okay, that's more like it. There are actual stakes now. People are in a situation where they have to make a Sophie's choice. But people reacted very poorly to this idea. The people I was seeing on the you're talking about people that I expected to actually find it really, really interesting to be put in a precarious situation. I'm not going to name names, but I just thought it was kind of interesting because, here we are. You have people of mastery finally reaching a point at which their mastery is going to be tested. How is the impossible possible, or are they going to have to make the Negan choice instead of the Sophie's choice? Are they going to have to go? So
yeah,
right. And that's the thing. So given that, I enjoy being put in uncomfortable situations, and that's what everybody was complaining about. And now that they got it, they don't like it. So
I'm exactly what you wanted.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? I
was a little confused and a little disappointed that it didn't really seem like they thought of any other options. Yeah, that was a lot of walkers, but there's also a lot of people with a lot of weapons. They didn't even consider clearing it out.
And you know what? That kind of brings me to another point. That will make sense for you. There was a point at which, when they get there, Morgan asks the group if any of them have any answers. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking to myself, what if Morgan at that moment is starting to think, oh, these people that we saved, I think they were relying on us a lot to have the answers. Mm-hmm. Obviously people like Tess and Rabbi Kessner, they have utility. You've seen them use their utility, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of answers, this group has answers. This group thinks of everything. Mm-hmm. But when the group doesn't have answers, when these capable, lucky, as John Dorie puts it, and I never forgot about that, and wanting to spread their luck to others. Are you going to burp your cat right now? Is that your
She's
cat?
tangled. It is my cat. She's tangled in my headphone cords. There we go. Okay.
As one does.
There. All right.
Is this happening? Is this for real life?
This is how she's. I'm not gonna burp her, but this is how she sits.
That's fascinating because it literally looks like you're burping your cat.
I know. I could. She'd let me. This is my ragdoll cat.
Can you imagine like a hairball comes out and it just be true to life?
Oh, that would be terrible.
Oh God.
That would be terrible. Right?
It's the worst.
Oh, what? Now you don't want to be up here?
Like, oh, he's making fun of me.
Right? I'm out of here, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm so sorry, guys.
Every time you do that, I feel like I have to.
Because I'm stuck. There's something in there. I got it. Thank you.
There we go.
It's not water cocky. Anyway, so moving along.
Well, that's good.
Thank God. Can you imagine? Anyway, so
Oh, that'd be terrible.
like the worst Spider-Man villain ever.
Water cocky man.
So many good clips from this episode.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so there's a point at which Morgan goes, is probably thinking to himself at this moment, like, oh shit, they don't have a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they were relying on us for the answers. And so, and it kind of brings me to what you were just saying now about not knowing what to do about this thing. You know, like there's clear, and like maybe at some point Morgan, because Morgan says in the episode, he says something to the effect of, I won't let it happen. Like, this is not the end of the line, Al. I think it was, is that the words that he used?
End of the story.
End of the story, end of the line. Something to that effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the end of the road.
Oh, yes.
Although we've come. Anyway, so every time. So, like this idea of I'll make sure that I won't let that happen. Like taking it on himself, the mistakes that he always seems to make is like doing it on his own, making sure that doesn't happen. So maybe at that moment he doesn't realize how all the numbers that he has to actually have an effect on this thing, which kind of explains some of the sneak peeks, which we'll get to eventually. But you're right. That's. I mean, it's the same like rationale that I thought when they were filming the Tess episode, which is like the mid-season premiere. Like, why didn't they just bang on like this direction to kind of redirect the walkers?
Right. Direct them this way, that way.
Yeah. They were like, shoot guns, pew pew. I'm like, no, don't. Ginny tried that, and look what happened. Yeah, the kids came to dinner.
And it makes sense that not a lot of people would have answers. I mean, we're talking about people who needed to be rescued. And, Morgan, Al, Alicia, Strand, these are the people who came to rescue them. So, yeah, I mean, if I were the one being rescued, I would kind of look at these people as like caretakers, and I would do what is asked of me to help out. But maybe they don't have any ideas. I mean, they needed help. So, I mean, they found themselves in a predicament that they needed help out of too. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. They might not have any ideas, but we've seen it happen enough where people could. I mean, look at the prison. I mean, there had to have been at least that many walkers at the prison in season 3. You know what I mean? Are
you the second person that said that? Or did you mention that before we went to air? I can't remember.
About clearing it out?
About the prison, no. Yeah. So maybe you're the second person who said that. Because that's...
Maybe.
So, yeah, the prison was cleared. No, I saw this on Twitter.
That was my first thought. Clear it out.
Right. But so what they did, they relied on that narrow corridor where they can get them one at a time, or like a limited amount of time. This isn't one of those situations. I mean, being devil's advocate here, because they are all in one place, but this place is kind of open. They're in the open air. They're not being forced to go through a corridor.
Yeah.
They can maybe make that work. But I mean, I don't blame them for not seeing the answer right away. Like, you have all your hopes riding on this thing, and then it's like any of us. Like we when we see something is not the way we expected it to be, think of no food, no water.
Yeah.
Walking 15 miles just to have this happen to you. So I can see them having a moment.
Yeah.
And it being infectious too. So
yeah. Well, and I guess we don't really know exactly how big of an area it is either. I mean, we see the people, the walkers walking around and everything, but I mean, in my mind, I'm picturing these at least 36 people, right? Because we've gotten that number before, at least 36, maybe even more than that by now. But if they all had the right weapons and spread out around that compound,
Tapping
they could
things
draw.
along the way.
Yeah, they could draw smaller groups to the outer perimeter and just kill them slowly. It would take a long time, but I feel like it could be done.
I'll tell you why
without losing a wall.
I'll tell you why that's dangerous in the sneak peeks. But I do want to change tacks on this. Could you imagine what all those walkers would look like? What if they were all employees or even guests?
Oh my gosh! What if they're all dressed up like cowboys?
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Like the walker they found in camp, which was really cool. Like the idea.
Yeah.
Tell me you didn't think this when they picked up the star that John Dorie was going to wear it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like right away, I just thought where I was trying to pay attention to the episode to see if he wore it, but audience, please help me out in the comments.
Yeah.
If you see it, just mention it in the comments, not even in the chat. If you actually saw it, and if you did, I'd love a picture of it with him wearing it, because that would be pretty rad. Because right from the jump, when we first met John Dorie last year, I had equated him to kind of like I'm gonna say this. You can at me all you want, but like a better Rick Grimes. So at me, please.
Better?
Like a better,
better.
Like
define better.
Okay, morally aligned, like a better morally aligned Rick Grimes. Now Rick Grimes may have seen some shit, came out the other side, and still decided he wanted to do good. There's a value to that. I get that, but John has seen some shit too, but not as much shit. Obviously, doesn't have a kid. Obviously, but in terms of like an archetype, he's not as complicated. Doesn't come with all this baggage. He would be a more effective. He would be what. Now I don't know about the comics, or let's say Rick dies just like he does in the comic, and John Dorie takes over as the sheriff, the new sheriff of whatever settlement. Wouldn't you be okay with that?
Yeah.
By the way, we lost Instagram, so just let me get that back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which means 2 hours.
Why are we losing Instagram so often?
Oh, because we keep hitting the hour.
No.
Ah.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's only been a half hour since you said that last.
I've been keeping watch, but obviously not that well.
Wow. I didn't think it had been another hour already.
I know. All right, let me refresh this sucker. I think Thorgon just jumped on too.
Ooh, hey Thorgon. He can't hear me yet, can he?
Maybe no, actually. Well, now he can't because conked out.
Right, because we're not up.
Yeah, no viewer count, so they're all on the Instagrams.
Yeah, gee.
So Wilani says, no one does it better than Rick Grimes. Bad aim and all.
Right.
Should be a comma there. I almost didn't read that right. But Dorie comes close. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a matter of, sometimes you want something that's just not as complicated.
Yeah.
You know
well, the thing is that we don't, yes, John Dorie does come off very uncomplicated and kind of carefree, but we don't know a whole lot about his history.
That's true.
There might be a reason has this carefree attitude. It might have to do with a lot of baggage. But,
yeah, maybe. Well, he did have some, but it didn't really change him. It did a little bit, like the no man is an island thing and all that, pulling from society. Which, by the way, I don't know. I can't believe I didn't think about this sooner. But how does that make him any different than Morgan? And isn't it awesome how they're kind of similar in that way? Mm-hmm. People that made mistakes, pulling away from society. I can't believe I didn't think of that parallel. And now Morgan's his best man. Right?
That was cute. If you know anybody who's not busy.
Yeah, exactly. You think of anybody? Get back to me.
That was cute.
I like when we never mentioned it in the episode that covered this, but which is the mid-season premiere, the Tess episode, when they explored their kind of buddy cop relationship. I wanted to bring that up, but I guess we must have forgotten about it. But I love how they return to that, because when you return to that, it's like an anchor. It kind of reminds you, oh yeah, that's how this all happened. That's how they began, expanding on it and showing what happens behind the scenes. And I know what he's thinking, even though he's not saying it. Although Hey, Morgan and Grace, is that a thing? I'm like, come on,
Right.
John. Come on, John.
Right.
God damn it. Guys never talk, do they?
What? No, of course not, man. And what was with Grace? I'm sorry. This whole episode, okay, last episode and this episode, she's like asking everybody, what was he going to say? Did he tell you what he was going to say? What did he say? What is he going to say about me? Is he talking about me? And then he finally gets up the courage to say something. She's like, no, don't say it.
Yes, I did want to talk about that. I did want to talk about that. That is very interesting. Now, I thought that they're perfect for each other because they're both being idiots, because they're both not saying things because they don't want to weigh down the relationship. They don't want to complicate the relationship with goodbyes. That's the thing.
See, I think that's just stupid.
And that's a mistake.
I think it's stupid and absurd. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And I love that Daniel, of all people, hey, Morgan, I don't know you very well, but oh, God, the look on Morgan's face, too. Like, Daniel says that, and Morgan looks at him like, shit, does everybody know?
Hey, that's right.
Yeah, we all know. So
we all know, buddy.
Just get it on already.
Yeah, come on. Snippity snap. Let's go.
Yeah. I love that.
But I think it's more like you're fucking right. Like, I mean, if only he knew his story, I think even more, right?
Daniel's? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't think most of the group even knows Daniel's full backstory. Alicia has a taste, but I think he told mostly Madison, I think. If at all. Mm-hmm. Not even Alicia. Now, Strand, on the other hand, might know more.
Well, and however much he revealed on the tape, that, skid mark tape, too. True. Whatever was revealed on there.
Yeah, so many people got to watch it, too, by the way. So who knows?
Well, I'm trying to remember who was... Al said, look for this tape, but who was that?
Victor.
Who was it, Victor? Okay, yep. Yeah.
Of all people.
Who was he? And he was with...
Charlie?
Sarah and Wendell, right?
Yeah, Charlie.
Or was he with Charlie at the time? Yeah. All right.
But more than anything, he's like, man, I the only reason why I bring that up is like I don't know how much Morgan knows about Daniel's thing.
Right.
But you're right. So that makes more sense. Like, does everybody know? John doesn't even know. But I thought it was interesting because I think there's something to be said about like them both being on the same page in that respect of like, no, don't say it. Don't say anything. Like in that they both know what each other feels. I hope. It didn't look like it, but like, I hope that that's what it means. Like, you don't have to say it. I know. Like, it's like Han and Leia Solo or something like that. I love you.
A bigger question though. Here, that's you. Okay, you just said it, but what was he gonna say? Do you think he was gonna say "I love you," or was it just, I really, really like you? Or like, I feel like the L word would be pretty strong right now.
Right. But I think it wouldn't be any less true, which is why it's hard to say it, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they definitely care a lot for each other. I don't know if I'd throw the big L bomb on it just yet.
Yeah, I hear you. It's
but
tough.
With time running out, people feel differently when they know they're on a timeline too, I guess.
Right. And maybe they're being realistic about it too. It's like, I know we haven't, because they wasted so much time, and they're going to waste more. And it's not their fault, like too. Like that's the one thing I wanted to express is like, it's not Morgan's fault. Like he's had to kind of force himself to kind of accept these feelings really quickly in lieu of his, camera therapy. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just this awkward situation. Like, so what do? Do you say the things that you need to say so that they can, and then pass on knowing
tough.
that? Or what was the point? I haven't even learned how to say goodbye properly yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet this is like the perfect situation for him to be able to do it because he can say goodbye to her through time. But maybe that's the way you say goodbye to people is not saying it at all. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I don't know why this popped in my head. When I was younger, my dad lived in California, and so I flew out to California 2 or 3 times a year. And every time I would get on the plane, we would not say goodbye. I wouldn't let him say goodbye. And so every time I'd get on the plane, we'd look at each other and say, "It's not goodbye. It's just I'll see you later." and so I mean, maybe it's kind of that thing, right? Like,
that's from
you don't want to say goodbye.
That's
to
from
say
the He-Man
goodbye
movie, by the way.
Is so final. Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That my dad would do that.
Yeah, your dad probably would do that.
Yeah, my dad totally would do that. But I get how hard that is to say. You know, when you say it out loud, it's very final, and that's hard. It's hard to admit an end.
Yeah. It's not goodbye. It's good journey.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that the line, or are you making that up?
No, that it's close to what it is verbatim from He-Man the movie with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 80s, I want to say, or early 90s. I can't remember.
Probably.
Which. But yeah, and Frank Langella as Skeletor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. You know, and why does Morgan think that him being with Grace would have prevented or stopped anything she's going through right now? I shouldn't have left her. You being there wouldn't have stopped what she's going through.
Oh,
what's he blaming himself for?
I don't think that's the point. I honestly think it's I should have been there for her so that, you know, if something happened to her, I could say goodbye.
He was just there.
He just be there for her.
Needed to be there. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't it the case that Jenny Jones was the walker that ended Dwayne Jones? I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it's just... Did he ever end up killing Walker Jenny? I don't even think so, right?
I don't think so. I don't know that he killed either one of them.
Oh,
I think he might have just ran.
My God. I don't know, just thinking out loud.
That was a long time ago.
Anyway, so no, the point being is that, like, to be there for somebody at their last moments, you know, just I don't want to have a situation where I can't be there for my wife who passed.
Sure.
You know, that kind of thing. And, you know, what if I wasn't there? And so it's like he's weighing these two things on a scale. Like, you know, if I'm not there, you know, I can't say goodbye. But yet I'm not really ready to kind of be involved, you know? So he's caught in this middle location where it's kind of like, I'm going to be there, but I'm not going to say what I have to say because it wouldn't feel right. It would put me in such a state. It's really interesting that it's this complicated because it really does have some sort of like faithfulness to the material, right?
Sure.
So to like faithfulness to the character in terms of not forcing Morgan to say, the writers not forcing Morgan to say things that would make it sound too hokey. For all the criticisms that the show gets about being too like plausible deniability, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it does not skimp out on coming accurately close to how people would react in a situation, to the point where, you know, you have things like Morgan, but you also have things like Alicia painting trees. Like, one of the biggest things was that, like, you know, you break somebody. Alicia decided to break herself down to the studs just to build herself back up. You know, painting trees was her way of rebuilding who she is trying to become. And it's just the beginning. With Morgan, it's just the beginning. We're really only scratching the surface, finally, after how many seasons? I mean, technically, this is, I don't know, what, 10 seasons for 10?
For him?
10 seasons for Morgan. So, I mean, come on, really. I mean, Alicia, you know, think of how many people Alicia tried to become. Everybody has this idea about, oh, Alicia's a badass. She wasn't always.
No.
She was kind of a coward and ran away. She was kind of stuck-up asshole.
Don't forget, she was the one who radioed that other boat that came and hijacked us. So she was not always a badass.
100%.
She made bad decisions just like her mom.
at Teotihuacan, at Broke Jaw Ranch. I mean, she was all over the place. Like, she wanted to be with this guy, and then she didn't really want to. I don't know. Confusing teenage stuff. You know, and it's
But it goes back to what you said, right? Like, the authenticness of it. Like, this confused teenager, young girl who doesn't really know what she's doing, trying to fit in here. Oh, this guy's showing interest. I'm going to be with him. No, I'm not. And then now I'm going to break away from everybody and be on my own. And so probably a very real, you know, something that would really happen for her.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Figuring things out.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be frustrating. People are frustrating. Have you not figured this out yet?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I get it. You escaped. You wanted to escape the real world by watching something that's unrealistic. Sorry to disappoint you. Yeah. No, and by the way, no Sanctuary. You should be asleep, but I'm happy you're here.
Where is he at?
He's on Instagram, by the way.
No, like state.
I think I keep messing. See, I have this thing about messing up Missouri and Mississippi, but no, he's in Missouri. I want to say that, and I think I'm right.
Okay.
All right. Why am I blowing his spot up? Oh yeah, he is an hour behind.
I'm just wondering. I'm wondering the time. The time.
You should have asked me the time zone.
Sorry.
By the way, he also asks. I honestly kind of ship Alicia and Morgan. Alorgan. You know,
what?
you
Alicia,
and me,
what?
You and me had the same thoughts. You and me had the same thoughts at one point. But anyway.
No, sorry.
Going
guys.
back,
You're wrong.
Going back
wrong.
to authenticity. Yeah. That's the thing. The people are complicated. The situations can be crazy. And I love that. I love that about the show. I love that the show kind of, the characters didn't, I mean, in some respects, they became TWD characters, like with John Dorie and who else? I mean, Morgan's on the show, so there's that.
Right.
But the people, in large part, stayed the same, you know? They stayed people, but the settings started to become outrageous. The situations started to become outrageous, like beer bottle in the sky and hurricanes and floods and crocodiles. What?
Yeah.
But anyway, so let me see. Wait. Julie did the. Oh, so she's asking. Julie, did the group ask Ginny about Luciana? I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I wanted to get to next, because you know, I don't know if there's much on in my notes that's left to cover, and so we might as well go into sneak peeks. I think
sneak peeks.
Let me just take a really good look before, because I think we're done, really.
And I'm racking my brain.
We're at the 2 hour 15, which is usually when we end, by the way. I've noticed 2 times in a row. So the one thing I did notice was that, like, after Tom dies and he talks to Althea in the editing trailer, let's just call it, you know, on her last battery, Morgan suddenly gets like the surge of leadership going in within him. You know what I mean? Like, like, I'm not going to let this happen, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it was just an interesting thing. Like what, I guess, is it like, maybe I'm trying to figure out how and why he suddenly does this. I'm trying to figure out if it's because Tom died and he's making it so that it didn't mean nothing. Is it that? You know,
I think that's part of it. I think when they saw what happened at the Gulch and he spoke up and said, "Does anybody have any ideas? Speak up now," and nobody did. I think that kind of hit him too and went, all right, you know what? They're all looking this way, so I need to deliver.
Now, what do you think about the groups, like starting with Victor, which is interesting because you would think this was a slipping moment, like of him slipping back into his old character ways, right? Because like, we gotta take the easy way out, you know?
Oh yeah.
I gotta take the lady up on her offer. But I think
he was the first one to speak up, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I honestly, it took me a little while to kind of examine that scene, and I think it really, really was. And I think it's great that that's there, because it really makes you think that this happened, and that's what he's thinking and acting, how he's acting. Mm-hmm. But I think it's genuine concern for people. I think he's genuinely putting the group's survival over their own desires to double down.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? We can't be putting these people into danger.
Right. I think it's been a while since we've seen old Strand. And I'm going to stick to my guns. I think he's still there hiding out someplace, but I think you're right. His intentions this time were for the good of the group, not to get himself to someplace safe, not to get help for himself, but help for the whole group. Yeah.
Right. Now, I think what's really, really interesting is examining the whole bridge thing. I mean, there's so many elements here that, like, where I almost think that maybe Ginny had known that they would go out of their way for Grace. Because did it maybe occur to them that Grace was sick on the tapes?
I don't know. The only indication we had was when an Al sort of zoomed in and she was like feeling her throat and stuff.
Nice. Yes. Okay, you found the actual frame. So now I'm thinking to myself, do you think she might have taken out the bridge? And how did she know about the bridge? Right? When she met up with them.
Yeah.
We're here to help you with the bridge.
Yeah.
Proverbially.
Well, and the size of the hole that was in there,
Mm-hmm.
Ginny's vehicle would have easily made it over that bridge. She knew they had bigger vehicles.
Son of a bitch. Yeah,
she knew
that's
it
a very
wouldn't have
light
taken the
vehicle.
weight. So, yeah, she definitely could have sabotaged the bridge in a way where she could still use it, but they couldn't.
That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Let me just bring this up. This is going to get edited out. Okay. No. There we go. No. There we go. Okay, back to work, folks. Back to work.
There we go.
Which we're almost done. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just
I don't know if she knew that that's where the group was going to go, but maybe she might have sabotaged it as a, just in case, like if they take this way, they're going to need us.
Yeah, because a lot of the times we're not seeing a lot of the twists and turns coming too. Which hey, who wants to expect the twists and turns? But like that whole starting with that Janice thing, I had not connected the dots between her and Tom. That's it's just so interesting to me that it just hadn't occurred to me. So maybe this is another one of those things. Oh, Ginny purposely sabotaged the bridge to put them in this moment where she gave them an offer they can't refuse.
And then they did anyway.
They did anyway, which I don't think she really, really was expecting.
I don't think so either.
And because obviously they don't know where they're going. She doesn't know where they're going, I think. Oh.
What if she sent the
walker with the humbug's Gulch?
Yeah. What if she sent that walker in there with the bat? Oh man, could go so far there.
Aren't you all glad that we didn't end the podcast just then and there? Because I'm not. That's right. How diabolical.
Well, and it's a little suspect that only one showed up, right?
Right.
I mean, there's usually a few.
And that obviously they would think it's a sign. Fucking dopes.
Right. And then they go that way.
If you want to really put the pieces together, what Victor said is spot on. You're spending all this time tracking us when you could be building the future. So this could have been very elaborate plan. And it's kind of like why
they already knew.
What's that?
I'm sure Ginny already knew that the Gulch was overtaken.
Right, and that they would go out of their way for Grace, and that.
Yep. Oh
right
man! See, clever. That's a clever girl.
That's very clever writing. First of all.
Yep. Yes.
And
writers.
Done,
yes, writers.
And done in a way where we wouldn't have seen it coming, and that is beautiful.
I love that. I love those twists.
Now,
I love it.
This is assuming that we're right. What if we're we're not? This is like the
We're
Martha
celebrating.
thing. This is like the Martha thing all over again. If they would have tied Martha to Ennis and Mel's farm, that would have been genius. The purpose for her character, what she did to put them in the scenario where they would kill Nick off and Madison, that would have been genius. And I'm sorry that it wasn't in the writer's room to tell them they should link these two things together, because it would actually have more of an impact when the group is threatened by her. So anyway, or like meaning to their suffering, right? Otherwise, she's just a random crazy lady who wants to kill people.
Yep.
Anyway, so good. We've gotten to some sort of truth.
That's
a hope archetype. I like Rabbi Kessner not saying words at Tom's mound, because Janice is like, nope, it doesn't mean anything unless we're at the place. I just love that interaction.
Okay. That's how I took it too. She meant at the Gulch where they were going.
Yeah. The final destination.
Right. Yeah.
A home.
That's what I thought too.
Because that's what he died for. The truth and a home. So, because he became this like hope archetype,
Yeah.
You are the symbol of hope. And so, and to sidetrack a little bit, there's so many Goonies vibes in this episode. As he's on no, hear me out, because you remember that movie?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Yes, yeah.
Tell me if when he was walking across the bridge with the camera pointing at him, it reminded you of Data with his slick shoes.
Yes!
guys, slick
I'm
shoes!
setting a booty trap! I set a booty trap!
And then, exactly. So they don't, so we can hear them coming. Yeah, I remember all those lines, and like, just, slick shoes, are you crazy? And like, they literally said, are you crazy? Get over here.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Mama Fratelli with the
I love that movie.
with his alarm system and the poing that hits him in his own face.
I get Tom had to die, like that was how it was written.
Right.
But I mean, he could have gotten up and ran across the bridge. I mean, he stood there lollygagging for a while.
Yeah.
They're like, come on. He's like, no, I'm good. Oh, the wires are snapping behind him. I'm good. I'll make it.
Nothing can
I gotta get this
me.
shot. It's for the gram.
Yeah. Yo, my followers, it's Tom coming live to you from your stories. Instagram live. What up? Snapping cables. Goodness. That's what up.
Yeah, right.
Am I wrong in thinking that we at some point saw, and I don't know where this was, maybe it was TWD, but like, didn't we see like a suspension cable hit a walker and cut it in half? I can't remember.
I kept waiting for that to happen, and maybe it was because we've seen it before. But yeah, I was waiting for one of those cables to slice through a few of them. And it
was like Piranha 3G at the beginning, the opening to that movie. I remember that happened at some point, but yeah. Wait,
I'm so excited for sneak peeks because I have not seen them.
Well, I feel like, I think it's good enough.
Are we there?
Okay, one more thing. Wes. Okay, no. It's fine. We can go into sneak peeks and I'll tie it in. Okay, so sneak peeks, you'll see. Dwight is running in the woods. He's like running to the point where, when you kind of stumble and then pick yourself up again, all you see is his feet. But you know it's Dwight because it's Dwight.
Because it's Dwight.
Nobody else on that show is that white.
So something's chasing him.
Something's chasing him, or he's chasing after something. Maybe he sees him exiting the group as a way of getting to Sherry at the bowling alley, by the way. Because that's where she was. And we noted
still waiting for Sherry to show up.
So I think he's on the case. He's like trying to find out if the guy at the bowling alley broke bread with Sherry knows anything about where she's going. Which is interesting, too. Take a minute to think about that for a moment. Do you think Jenny would have let Sherry go? Or would have told the bowling... Just as a person in the world, with this ethos, the settler ethos is, like, would they have let her go? Would they have seen value in Sherry? Right? Something fishy is going on here.
Would they have let her leave?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Would they have ended her?
Would she have wanted to leave?
I mean, these people, when they come across other people, they either get indoctrinated or they get ended.
I think Sherry... I could see Sherry...
joining these people, right?
Joining this group. Absolutely. Especially after the final letter we saw, and she says, don't look for me anymore. I'm gonna sort of move on.
In what better way
than to join a group
that thinks about the future, about tomorrow, or whatever, a key to the future, whatever it is.
Meeting these people could have been the catalyst for writing that letter.
Ooh. Well, but she wrote that letter in the nuclear area, though. Could these people have reached? Oh, well. They said their reach was really big.
They did.
It was a bar that was far west, east, north, or whatever the hell.
That's true. It was on the other side. Yeah, it was on the other side.
So anything is possible, I suppose. And same with the tree. Like some people ask, like, how could Wes have made it all the way out there? And I'm like thinking to myself, but they were far away from our group initially. So anything is possible. But anyway, so okay, let's move on. But I mean, all this to say that it's possible that Sherry's been with the group the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'd always said that, Sherry would be part of a big bad group, maybe. Whether that
was always my thought.
Yeah. Whether she's the leader of that group or whatever, but who knows? We thought she would be the big bad for the season. So anything is possible. The reveal has yet to been revealed.
Yeah. Maybe Ginny's not the leader of this group.
Then again, maybe Sherry's Madison. Anyway, so
Sherry's Madison.
Julie, I want to clear this up. I think Ginny's lying about Sherry is what she says. I think both Milani and Ginny at the same time. Sorry, I think Milani and Julia both said at the same time. I think Ginny was lying about Sherry, and that can't be.
Because she knew her name.
She knew her name when nobody had said it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that makes you think.
Yeah. It still would have to be a pretty big assumption, because even if she had met Sherry and Sherry was talking about her husband, you know, maybe she did say Dwight. I mean,
and then she would.
That's still a big chance saying that this Dwight is with that Sherry.
That's true. But she would have to know it was a Sherry that she's looking for, or that's the Dwight that she's looking for.
Right.
Then again, Ginny is clever. And so either way, she found out on her own. Right? So, and then she put the pieces together. Which really,
I think it's good information.
I think it's good. It's good to inform the audience that she is very good at deducing things. Like that helicopter thing for Althea, that may bite Althea in the ass.
Yeah. I'm thinking so.
Okay, so Ginny is milking Morgan's plea for help.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, you need help? Okay. How's that stone soup tasting? I know why I sounded like that. Because she clearly sounds like this. Anyway, so I know. Anyway, Alicia turns around and thinks they can clear the place to Morgan. So Alicia's like, we can do this, Morgan. You know, we can clear this place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's my girl.
Daniel checking the fences for walkers, but the fence does not seem very strong at all.
Ooh.
So, but he's checking the fence just to kind of burp, 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 like not, take him down. John to June. Now we've got something to fight for. Wait, I didn't think of this. Could she be like Preggers? Maybe that's why she's been trying to find a place all this time.
Could be.
I think they're talking about Humbug's Gulch. but now, I mean, just the way I said it then, I'm like, oh, I see. And the next scene right after that, like the next flash, was Victor holding the fence while John clears the walkers beyond them. Boop, boop.
Okay.
Morgan, we're going to see each other again. Grace, no, we won't. So Morgan's obviously trying to go after... it looks like Morgan's going after Dwight. And he's saying to Grace, we're going to see each other again. And Grace is like, no, we won't.
Morgan should probably sit tight.
This is the end.
Can't somebody else go look for Dwight?
I keep thinking that every time Morgan wants to go out. Jeepers creepers.
Send Dorie.
Yeah, send Dorie so he can die.
Send Dorie and Daniel.
Yeah, exactly. Those two specific people. Mm-hmm. Daniel and Strand look off and see Ginny's Jeep arrive. Okay, so she does make it. Now, I'm wondering now whether they've already cleared the place when she does. So now it's more of like a fight. And then that's important because the next frame over is Luciana. Luciana, as the door closes to Tanktown, we're going to be okay.
Says Luciana.
So it looks like somebody came for her, but she decides to stay anyway. I don't know. Something, but she looks hopeful. So who knows? And maybe Wendell goes with her. What do you think if Wendell and Luciana get together?
That'd be cute.
That would be kind of cool because I think he does kind of look up to her.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all this coupling up. I don't feel like we're at a very comfortable place in life right now to be coupling up.
Yeah, I like that you said that though, because I do think it does follow the heels of that conversation we had about John and June finally shacking up after not.
Yeah. Right.
It smells like Clorox in here. Anyways, I can't get that out of my brain. They're like, what does everybody have CX for?
I know.
Oh, Dad. Oh. Look at all those Kleenex doing in the corner. Anyway. Okay, so right after that, Morgan and Dwight in these action cut scenes, like really quick cuts that, I mean, I had no time to really examine, but they're surrounded by walkers.
Those always get me.
Yeah. Daniel knows that Ginny's not coming all this way without a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is interesting. He knows war more than anyone. So, like, if they submit, she will dictate all the terms.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel is saying this to Dwight. So at some point, Dwight comes back. Somehow.
Good.
So, yeah, I guess so. And so this line, this is the only one that I kind of wanted to drill down on a little bit. But there's the next one, which actually gives me a little bit of hope. He's saying all this to Dwight, but it's just interesting for Daniel, of all people, to know what's in Ginny's mind. Like, being this person who knows about intelligence and war and stuff like that. It's kind of like, she's not going to make this easy.
Right.
She's not only going to dictate her terms, but she's going to make you guys pay in order to submit. Like, kind of like a Negan offering. Like, I got to kill one of you to keep you in line. So I don't know. You know, because, and so it almost as if they painted themselves in the corner so that they didn't have, you know, they only had one choice, and that's to clear this place. Mm-hmm. And then when Ginny finally arrives, you know, it's a whole different ball game. You know?
Yeah.
And now
she's gonna make him work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Unless they clear the place, and then it's a whole other ball game. Like, then it's like, what do they do now? Now they've got the one up on Ginny.
Right. She shows up and they're like, meh, guess we didn't need you after all.
Yeah, I think every step of the way, Ginny is trying to trip them up to get them to submit willingly to this new world order. Mm-hmm. But like between the bridge and between Humbug's Gulch, like she said, oh, if they don't submit at the bridge, they'll definitely submit at Humbug's Gulch. Like, she has this all planned out. But if they don't submit at Humbug's Gulch, I think Ginny doesn't have a plan. And she's not going to expect it. Oh, Julia says something interesting. Miss Mazel. They have no choice to kill her, becoming... She'll continue to trap them and kill the weak of their group. Interesting, because, she does kill. And this is something somebody else said, is that, like, fear has weak villains. I'm thinking to myself, I don't think Ginny would hesitate to kill. Our group would, though. So that's going to be a challenge, too, after this entire season of not killing, really.
To call a villain weak because they're not doing as much killing, I think it has the opposite effect. I mean, that to me shows great strength. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you can convince people to do your will without having to kill people, that's an even scarier villain, right? Because you're just scared of what they might do. Kind
of like the governor in a way.
Yeah.
We could feel like the confidence and like... Even though we didn't really see it at first, sort of, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you could just sense it. There's something not right with this guy.
Well, yeah. I was say when we meet him, he's a nice guy, but I guess not really, because the first time we see him is, you know, Michonne and Andrea in the woods, and he shoots the pilot. So no, we get a pretty bad sense of him right from the get-go. But
right, honest mistake though. Oh golly gosh. Anyway, so But yeah, so this last thing is very interesting. So it's like a couple of cuts. So it's like June on a horse. Okay, so they find horses. Walker's washing away, though. So they must have figured out a strategy that involves water.
Okay, like in washing away in a river?
Like in a torrent. So I don't know if this is a river.
Oh, okay.
But I think, did John mention like a watering hole?
He did, yeah.
Okay, so maybe they rig it somehow so that they kind of... Anyway...
Ooh, I hope that's not their drinking water source, though.
Could be, but hey, small sacrifice, I suppose. I mean, it's quite the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Now, this is the last shot in the sneak peek, and you'd think it was a throwaway, but Walker's walking towards a chapel, okay, in the dead of night.
Chapel.
Like, it's like a chapel of some kind. I don't know if it's inside the compound, but it looks like it might be. Okay. That's the dead of night. There's a light inside the door, in the doorway. Like, so the walkers are seeing the light and they're walking towards it, and it's a still shot. What I notice is there's like a tree painted in the top of the archway, or like it's, you know, like the triangle archway. There's a tree painted there, and I thought that was kind of cool. Huh. So this could mean like one of those signs that maybe these people look for, or this could be a time jump of some kind, in the sense of like maybe this is one of those things that Wes painted ironically. Like instead of painting on trees, he paints a tree on the chapel. There's like some symbolism going on here.
He does make a comment about finding a new medium. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
painting on
funny.
something, right? So it's something to think about, to chew on, like where this can go, or like these reoccurring themes of like trees, painting on trees, painting trees of, on other things. So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Did it look like anything could be going on inside the church/chapel?
No. All you see is the outside and walkers walking towards it, and then it kind of cuts out. Yeah. So
I hope they're not like stumbling on June and John's wedding.
Yeah, well. I mean, it's no wedding without a couple of wedding crashers.
Exactly.
So that could be telling. I mean, it could be a funeral. But who knows?
Could be a funeral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know.
It's
why we
anybody's
have theories.
ball game. Yeah, anybody's ball game. All right. So I think with that, let's just say this much: if you liked what you heard, give us a like on all these different platforms. We got Mixer, Twitch, Periscope. We got YouTube. We got Facebook. Leave a like on all these, all 5. Join Mixer, this new platform, to give us some sparks, whatever those are.
Sparks.
If we didn't cover anything, I would encourage you to leave something in the comments. I'm not going to be checking the chats, but leave something in the comments for me to chew on, and maybe we could bring it up in the next episode. I could probably answer you right then and there. We can continue the show that way. And hey, again, I want to remind you, I love the idea. I love if you guys give us a review, but don't waste that review on Stitcher or Apple Podcasts. Enter the giveaway. 2 of the giveaways are a 5-point entry that you can enter once a day. It's a very high point entry where you can leave us a review on Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, copy and paste the contents in the entry, and then I'll check it 3 days later to see if it shows up. Boom, 5 points. But leave them every day. And A, it helps the podcast, and B, it helps you win. So, and what is that? One of 30 cast members that are on Cameo.com. You could win a shout out from the. Now, another thing we need help with, and no pressure, obviously, because we talked about this already on the show. I don't know how to do this, but if you can help grow our numbers, we can open up. At least Instagram is going to be pretty easy. We're only like about 150 away from 1,000. If we reach 1,000 on Instagram, we will open up another winner slot. So 1 and 1. Now, what's interesting is that the same person can win that. I've made it so that the same person can win both slots. So the more entries you give us to work with, I know it sounds shady too, right? But like only the fittest survive, right? So there is that potential. Be the one to survive. Be the one to get that entry. I would love a review on Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, but get those points. Make it worth your while. In any case, love you guys. We will not be covering the season finale because Talking Dead is back. Okay? Talking Dead is back, so that means we will be recording probably Monday, and we will be recording again that week because we will have in our hands, because I think most of us are AMC Premiere members, we will have in our hands the TWD Season 10 season premiere. So we will be we'll probably be pre-recording that to be aired that following Monday, after it airs on live TV. By that time, we'll have had our panel. Scary. Very overwhelmed.
So much happening so fast.
I know, and we're not prepared. But I think it'll be okay.
This is the practice year, and then next year will be
great. But anyway, so either way, make those points count. Join at squawkingdead.com. Enter those entries. Leave us a review. It really helps the show, but it really helps you get that shout out. So yeah, we'll be seeing you very soon. Either way, I hope you enjoy the season finale of Fear the Walking Dead, and I hope you enjoy the season premiere of TWD Season 10. We'll be seeing you soon. Okay? Rachael?
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
I was trying to avoid that.
Motherfucker.